Bam! Welcome back.
What is up, Eva Nation?
What is up, Kaimons?
How's it going, Wolf?
Cassidy comrades.
Oh, hell yeah.
Welcome back to the Wolfgang.
Oh, that's a good one.
Too bad he's dead.
No.
What a waste. What a waste. Well, we're here with what's probably the final Project Eden's Garden video until they release Chapter 2. We're here.
Mm-hmm.
We played this game last week and this week, like 10 hours in a row, essentially, up to now. And now...
We're in it, and we're gonna win.
Unless the game crashes, then, you know. Which it seems to have done.
No, but our commentary.
Well, I'll just hit stop record now, and we'll be back, audience, when the game works.
Right.
Okay.
Now.
Alright, hopefully the game works. Don't know why it didn't work there. That was scary. Diana, now's your chance to defend yourself. Tell me what happened.
Where do I even start, though?
How about you begin by explaining why you went to the boiler room?
Why I went in there? It was because of a note.
A note?
2 days ago, someone slid one into my DMs. I never got to see who. I just heard a knock, and when I walked over, there was a note under my door.
I don't remember any of this.
Pretty
That's 'cause you did it.
Sus.
Or maybe
Sorry.
you're lying.
It was midday-ish, and you weren't there at the time, and I didn't show you the note later because... Well, I'll just read you what it said. Diana, as you are aware, it is our obligation to speak with those who blackmail we've obtained. After receiving your blackmail and reading the information disclosed in it, I believe a meeting between the two of us is warranted. In 2 days' time, please come to the underground boiler room at 8:45 a.m. to make sure to arrive promptly and close the door behind you. To avoid discourse, do not show anyone this letter. Do not approach me about it either, even in private. There's always the chance someone can hear. Wolfgang.
Dang. So yeah, we know that's the killer who wrote that because Wolfgang had John's blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
Wolfie wrote this?
Wolfgang had Diana's blackmail? But didn't he have John's?
Hold on a sec. If you take a closer look, the handwriting on that note. Doesn't it resemble the handwriting on Wolfgang's note? You're actually right.
You didn't change up the handwriting?
Even though Wolfgang's note has been water damaged, the words I could make out were in the same messy scrawl as Diana's here.
And then someone else was posing as Wolfgang?
The killer, most likely. They must have thought his word was the only one Diana would follow. And yeah, I assume Eva's going to be the killer, because Damon's speech at the end of before the intermission was like, I have to persevere no matter what. And it's like, she's the only person he trusted the whole time. So. Guess it worked, huh?
I didn't want to show this note earlier because I was scared of how people would try and twist it. Like saying I faked the note, or that I decided to kill because of it. I thought it would be easier to just stay quiet. I know you guys think I'm stupid for agreeing to meet in a place like the boiler room. And I am stupid. I just didn't want to disappoint Wolfgang in case he really did write the note. Which was why I left my room around 8:40 a.m. and went downstairs.
Did you catch any strange movement down there?
No, it was just me. I did find the boiler room door hanging open a little bit, but I didn't think much of it. I just went inside and closed the door behind me, since that's what the note asked me to do.
What did you see inside the boiler room?
The boiler room was really dark, so the first thing I noticed was actually the security camera light. My eyes had to take a few seconds to adjust to everything, but after that, I finally saw him. Wolfie! Wolfgang was lying in the water making weird noises. And it didn't seem like he'd even noticed me entering the room. Not until... Wolfgang? Hearing his name seemed to snap him out of his trance, because he slowly rose to his feet. Wolfgang, are you okay?
It's you.
Huh?
I can't believe it. I really am finally meeting you.
What do you mean?
Please, forgive me. Please forgive me for what I've become.
Wolfgang?
Despite how hard I tried and how much I wanted it to be true, I could never become you. I will always be a failure.
It's okay, Wolfgang. Look! There's stairs over here. Come over here and we can get out. I have no idea if he didn't hear me or if he was just ignoring me, but... Okay, I'll get closer to you then. I went over to the ledge of the platform, the part where the fence had a gap. Just take my hand, okay? And I'll pull you out. He slowly stumbled over, and he held my hand. I didn't really think I could pull him out. I just wanted to be there for him. It was the best I could do, because I didn't want to enter the water. Staying on the platform felt so much safer, and I really, really hate that I did that. It's okay, Wolfgang. We'll get through this together, alright? I was looking at him when I said that. I was looking right at him, but somehow... Somehow I didn't think to react. When he reached inside his blazer.
Bring her back. Bring her back!
Okay, so what I'm sussing from that is that he thinks that she was his dad, and his dad killed his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's bonked on the neck pretty hard.
Yeah. Because he would have been passed out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to leave the room, but the door was locked. I didn't know what to do. I started looking around for things to defend myself with. And that's when I saw the gun.
That taser gun? Did you use it?
I took the taser and I aimed it at Wolfgang. And I I couldn't do it. I couldn't shoot him. I just backed away from him. I couldn't understand anything. Why was this happening to me? Why was I being attacked? Why can't I do anything to... Eh?
I'm not like you. I'll never be like you. I won't give up until the world knows. I won't give up. Until everyone knows me as...
Kaboom! All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me, except Wolfgang. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. And then, so did everything else. Even though I didn't see Wolfgang fall over, I heard it. His body cracking against the pavement, and his knife falling into the water. I waited for the gasp of pain, for him to groan or mumble or say something. But there was nothing. There was just me, in the silence. That's how it happened. What the... What the fuck?
That man attacked you? Oh my goodness, Diana! I'm at a loss for words.
This is getting too much for me, bros. I think I'm gonna faint.
Holy shit. So, Diana really did watch Wolfgang die. But why was he so violent towards her? It's like he became an entirely different person.
The word you're looking for is crazy.
Despite how hard I tried and how much I wanted it to be true, I could never become you. Why would Wolfgang say those words in that particular moment?
How'd you manage to escape the boiler room after all that?
By picking the door's lock.
Reals?
Yeah, Ryuji. I wasn't even thinking. I just started feeling my way back to the door in the dark, and then... Well, my supply bag. I remember the spare hairpins I always kept inside, so I felt around the bag and dug one out. To be honest, I have no idea how I actually managed to unlock the door. The whole thing was repeated trial and error.
And the blackout girl?
Yeah, I'm just really cool like that. Just minutes of telling myself that somehow this next attempt will finally work.
Whoa, actually unlocking the door that's like hitting a bullseye blindfolded.
Now we know why it took so long for her to escape. I realized why it happened. Getting trapped inside, I mean. The door's lock was on the outside, so someone must have set the lock before I came downstairs, so that when I closed the door, I'd be trapped.
The lock is normally on the inside too. The killer purposefully flipped it, then left the door open so you would be the one to close it. Okay, so a few things. She didn't fire the taser gun, so
But it was
why was it fired?
at some point.
Because Wolfgang was hit in the back of the head, or the back of the neck, to knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then his hands were burned, which still hasn't really been explained.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to
So
think
there could have been a double kill. Which is the scary part.
a double kill.
Yeah, because he could have actually stabbed Diana, and then the killer could have actually killed him, so it'd be a double kill.
Oh yeah, they were
But
setting
she
it
was
up.
lucky.
Yeah, she was setting it up so that one of them would kill each other, maybe. Like, she wanted both of them out. Because then, yeah, she got one of them to kill, and then if it was the rule of the first killer is the only one that's the blackened, then she would have killed 2 people and gotten away with it and been able to stay in the game. But because Diane didn't shoot and Wolfgang didn't kill her, now she's the only... Assuming it's Eva or Kai or whoever, they're the only blackened. The cereal...
Damon.
That would be quite the twist.
Come on, bargain bin.
The cereal and the rubbing alcohol must be like some sort of like makeshift bomb, because they keep saying kaboom. So maybe it was a makeshift bomb that was in the blast door of the generator, and when the frayed wire touched it, that's what set it off. Like maybe the water wasn't actually part, like maybe the water really wasn't conductive, it was this bomb going off.
Yeah.
So these are my thoughts going around based on what we just heard. As for why the killer locked the door to begin with,
It was to frame Diana, right?
right, the killer made Diana trap herself inside the boiler room so they could kill Wolfgang in front of her and force her to remain by his body. Had their plan worked, Diana would only be able to escape if someone from outside entered the boiler room. By which point, that someone would be stumbling across what looks like a cut-and-dry murder case.
If the tournament folk found Diana, they would have been playing right into the killer's hands.
Speaking of which, Diana, I'm curious to know, did you unlock the door before or after the tournament attendees arrived downstairs?
It sort of happened at the same time. Like, when I opened the door, there were already people walking down the stairs. Obviously, I couldn't stay inside the boiler room. If anyone saw me close to Wolfgang's body, it would look really bad. And the hallways was a bit easier to make out in the dark, so I walked over to the wall bordering one of the storage closets and hid behind it. And stayed as quiet as possible. I was still bleeding a little from the Wolfgang cut, so, why can't I read the sentence? And some of that blood ended up dripping down on the floor around me.
Wait, that's not the same hand.
Wait a minute. They drew this art. They drew one of the arts before
reverse.
the other.
Hence the blood on the underground floor. It's all coming together. Except, which hand it's on. Arm, whatever.
This was shortly before us tournament goers split up, and you made a run for it, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Down the hallway, up the stairs, and then as quietly as possible into my room. Since everything was still really dark, I had to patch myself using Tozu's trinket projection as my light.
I don't know, there's a lot of light in that picture.
That's true. I realize this is a lot, and I know it's hard to believe without proof. So, if you guys could just give me a second.
Pulls out a gun.
I'm gonna kill all of you.
Reaching into her makeup bag, Diana pulled out a gun, a wipe, and began scrubbing at her arm.
Boo.
Now it's... Wait.
Now it's the right arm. I think they just drew that
The
picture.
chameleon was on the left arm. Maybe they flipped it by accident.
Yeah.
Unless, her account is, she's actually lying to us. I think it might just be an error.
I think it's just an error.
I cleared up the blood pretty fast. Luckily for me, the cut wasn't that deep.
Imagine that, though, that she's actually lying and she's the killer, but it's assuming the player's just like, oh, the developers must have just messed up. And then that's how meta.
There's still a chance it may leave a scar, though. Holy crap! back up again. Why did Wolfgang attack you for no reason?
I wouldn't say it was for no reason.
You're being kind of insensitive, man.
Eh? I didn't mean it like that. What I'm trying to say is, Wolfgang's actions may look random from an outsider's perspective, but from his perspective, well, judging by his behavior, it seems like he saw something which shook him to his core.
Like, there was something in the room that Diana didn't see?
That's impossible. It was only me and Wolfgang in the boy room.
The little mark on his neck, he was injected with something that made him hallucinate.
Maybe it was the rubbing alcohol in cereal.
That'll make me hallucinate. I don't believe John meant it in a literal sense. Wolfgang literally saw something? He thought he saw something, is my point.
You mean he had been hallucinating?
What did Wolfgang hallucinate for him to turn out the way Diana described?
You'd be surprised by the sort of things our minds can invent. Enderman, Slenderman. I'm lucky to have never experienced anything myself, but I know some who have hallucinated nasty things. Demons and monsters, or the feeling of being tortured. If Wolfgang went through something similar, I can see why he lashed out.
Now what the heck is going on at sea?
Sea madness. Course, these hallucinations... Yes. These hallucinations don't just happen out of the blue. More often than not, they're substance-induced.
Substance-induced?
Cold, hard drugs.
Just say Wolfgang took a hallucinogenic. A little hallucinia.
Hallucinogenics?
One which induced a lot of fatigue, too, judging by the way he lumbered about in Diana's account.
It would explain why Wolfgang mostly stayed in one place.
One place, which happened to be in the water.
Seems very deliberate. I reckon the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious in order to drag him into the water, but knew he would eventually wake up again. So they drugged him with something which would basically make him despondent. As for where the drug came from...
Oh no, don't tell me the killer robbed.
I knew exploring it was a bad idea.
Oh, also, do you think if ever whoever the killer is, they figured out Tozu's secret in the pharmacy, and it's this hallucinogenic drug, maybe?
Must be, yeah, because Eva was like, oh, I haven't actually been thinking about it since last time.
So, I'm thinking all signs point to Eva.
It. What's this it we're talking about?
The pharmacy, obviously.
Oh, I thought it was Minecraft or something.
No. Why the heck did we think that leaving that place open was a good idea? Now someone's stolen an item and drugged Wolfgang. Fuck. I knew our promise was too good to be true. I can't trust any of you guys. And don't say Wolfgang drugged himself. Who wants to be tortured by demons?
Crack users.
Well, stranger people do exist.
That's rich coming from you.
It's just as I predicted. Exploring the pharmacy ended up paving the way for murder. Should I have made more of an attempt to stop people from exploring? Back then, all I did was... I was just like, maybe we shouldn't do this. Then again, nobody would have listened to me. Especially not with Wolfgang in control.
If we know where the perpetrator got their chemicals, I guess our next step is figuring out how they did the drugging.
Agreed. It would help us better understand the timeline of events, and potentially even validate Diana's testimony. Sounds like you guys can leave this one to me. I'm the kind of person who knows someone back to front the moment I meet them. And if you haven't already realized, I've gone and read this killer like an open book.
You're the last person I'd trust to reach a correct conclusion.
Just you wait. The second you hear what I gotta say, you'll be eating those words. Pinning down how Wolfgang was drugged may validate Diana's testimony. The question is, how did the killer drug him?
How did the killer drug him?
With drugs. Thin piece of metal, odd smell.
Great
Wolfgang's
job!
neck. I bet the killer took a pill and forced Wolfgang to swallow it. Okay, so I assume this will be the neck.
No.
Yeah, just jab him, yeah.
So we can agree
Mark's
with
on
that.
something. How'd the killer make him swallow a pill?
They didn't.
There's no proof they restrained him.
So didn't the killer... Oh wait, no, that's not me.
Did the killer knock Wolfie out? Maybe that was their way of restraining him. You can't force an unconscious person to swallow a pill.
What if it was a drug? You don't need to eat. Yes, Kai. Like
Crack cocaine?
an inhalable substance? No, that's wrong.
Oh yeah, like a powder or something.
The pharmacy does have a large collection of over-the-counter sedatives, but there's too many to isolate any specific one.
There's like 2 of these you can shoot down.
I think we would agree with
Because
We can agree with-
neck.
Mark.
Oh yeah,
'cause he said-
swallowing, yeah.
Because Mark said
Or like-
jab it. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
would agree. Be like, yep, it was jabbed. How
Mhm.
did
I
the
agree with that.
I agree with that. How did the killer drug Wolfgang? Of all the ideas being thrown around, only one has any real merit.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Wow, you agree with me, D. Mark Broski.
The Markiplier.
Maybe you're my new broski.
I did love your FNAF series. The Wolfgang's wounds were discussed earlier. You're welcome. It was mentioned he had a tiny red dot below the bruise on his neck. During the investigation, I thought this dot was a scab from a mole or pimple, but knowing Wolfgang was drugged, it's clear to see what it really is. A puncture wound. Considering the timeline of events, an injection would check out. If Wolfgang got drugged a little after 8:15 a.m. and was already feeling the effects when Diana arrived at 8:45 a.m., then we're dealing with something which entered his bloodstream in under 30 minutes. Any normal pill would have taken him, probably an hour to dissolve.
Whilst an injection would be much quicker. I see.
That's probably another reason why the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious. It would have been incredibly difficult to inject him if he was still moving around. Only when they had him right where they wanted, dazed and unable to fight back, did they plunge the syringe into his neck.
With said syringe being filled with hallucinogenic. But if this all happened a few minutes after 8:15 a.m., doesn't that make it impossible to pin a suspect? What? Why is it impossible? Because everyone's got an alibi for that time. I mean, Damon and I were in my dorm room, and the other party people...
8:15 a.m.? Yeah, I was already in the dining hall with Jet, Mark, and Eva.
Hmm.
I left Wolfgang's dorm right after the morning announcement and spent the rest of the hour with John.
Winona and I were in our dorm room together.
Me and Eloise were already sitting down in the courtyard.
Toshiko was giving me the medication she grabbed from the pharmacy.
So you were at the pharmacy too, Toshka.
And, I stayed in my room until 8:40.
Oh no! If everyone can be accounted for, we really can't discern a suspect.
So
Whatever will we do?
we're back to square one. You know, except Kai didn't have an alibi.
Well, he
Someone
was with
here
Damon.
must be lying.
Who was sleeping till
But-
8:30.
Yeah.
I wonder who. And doesn't plan to stop.
If Eva was actually with the gamer crew the whole time,
Then how would he have possibly, or how would she have possibly given him the thing?
right.
Le Droog.
Le Droog. What's screwing us over here? Is there a part of this mystery we're getting wrong? Like, I don't know how she would get that through the vent without anyone noticing. Or could it be we're overlooking something? Ooh. It was ruled out as having no relation to the murder because the wires don't touch the water. But the position of it, the fact it's destroyed, the timing of the blackout. Was Eva in that art of them all playing video games?
No.
Pretty sus. While everyone's focused on the game, she could have been toying with the vent, sliding the wire down to blow up the generator or trigger the...
Yeah, and no one would have heard because Mark's music was super loud.
One coincidence is easy to wave off, but when it's coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, then there's something more going on. There's something more to the generator.
If everyone has an alibi for 8:15 a.m., is it possible the killer never actually attacked Wolfie at that time? But his little note said to come by at 8:15 a.m., didn't it?
Although we don't have that entire note. What if he was there earlier?
He seems like a buttoned up guy that would come earlier.
But the problem is that Grace saw him at 8 o'clock, so he couldn't have left before then.
Yeah, it would have been after 8:10 because that's when she left.
Yeah. Ingrid, do you remember what you said when we couldn't figure out who stole Desmond's taser?
To be honest, I'm drawing a blank.
You suggested we switch subjects and discuss Wolfgang's injuries instead, which we did. As a result, we ended up unraveling more about the case than if we had stuck to the original topic. Right now, we're at a dead end. If we can't get any more leads out of this current discussion, then that's a sign to switch our focus.
Switch our focus to what?
I want to take another look at Diana's testimony.
Mine?
Back when you were describing Wolfgang's death, something stuck out to me. The sound effects.
Yeah, the fact she didn't use the taser, but Desmond said that it had been fired.
Yes. Yeah, that part's weird. I don't know if they're going to harp on the sound effects of, like, there was like a whop and then a plop or something. Like, there's two different
And a
sounds.
kaboom.
Yeah, kaboom, whop, plop. I won't give up. Until everyone knows me as...
Dead. All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me, except Wolfgang. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. The blackened, he killed himself,
He's the blackened.
and then so did everything else. Plop. That's him falling in the water, I think. And then the crack, I'm not sure.
So crack is, I assume that's what they're going to focus on. Be like, what was crack? The
he was doing crack.
He was doing crack cocaine. The flash of white Diana described must have been the generator exploding, with the darkness afterwards being the blackout. Think about the order of events there. In just a few seconds, the boiler room's generator explodes, and Wolfgang falls over dead. Doesn't it sound like the two are correlated?
Oh, wait, didn't we go over this already?
We did. The generator has nothing to do with Wolfgang's death. Its wires weren't touching the water.
Sus. Pretty focused on this wire thing.
Indeed. Which is why the murder weapon is a taser gun.
Diana said she never used the taser, though.
Then she's lying.
What? That's not true. I never fired the gun.
We're also assuming Eva didn't fire the gun ahead of time. So because by Diana not firing it, we can't confirm if it was even loaded anymore.
Yeah.
It might have just been there to frame her, because then she'd be like, I didn't fire it, and everyone's like, well, it was fired, so you killed him.
It's all good. I believe you. Sure, nobody can dispute the gun was fired. What can be disputed, though, is when it got fired.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if the killer fired that gun way in advance. Like, sometime before Wolfgang arrived downstairs and left it in the boiler room for us to find later.
What? So the taser gun isn't the murder weapon?
If Wolfgang wasn't killed with the taser gun, or the generator, what other options are we left with?
The taser gun is the only option, which makes sense. The murder weapon can't be anything else.
You keep saying a lot of absolutes, Eva. That's pretty sus. The true murder weapon. Is it possible there's a third source of electricity we haven't considered yet? Yeah, the
What's
wire.
That quote? Like, a Sith only deals in absolutes
A
or something?
Sith only deals in absolutes, which in and of itself is an absolute. But yeah. So yeah, the wire going through the vent, that's what Eva was doing. But when did she drug him? That's the...
Yeah.
But I guess that's why they moved away from that. They're like, that's a dead end, let's go back to this. Is it possible there's a third source of electricity we haven't considered yet? Am I grasping at straws by thinking something like that?
And anyway, the only proof Diana never shot the taser is her own word.
That we never saw anything.
Huh?
Because we would have seen the flash from, like, the light in the... whatever the vent.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
All the evidence supporting your version of events is circumstantial.
Dude, you're talking too much. Lay low.
The note you showed us? That could be a fake alibi you made for yourself. The fact it has the same handwriting as Wolfgang's is already suspicious.
Couldn't that just mean the same person tricked them?
Correct.
If you earnestly believe Diana didn't write it, then maybe. But do you see what I'm saying? There's no proof Diana never wrote the notes. There's only her word to go by. Because if she did write them, everything about her entering the boiler room at 8:45 a.m. and being locked inside could be a total lie.
I get what you're saying, but if we run with the idea that Diana was the one waiting for Wolfgang all the way back at 8:15 a.m., then we're stuck in the issue we had last time. Why did Diana wait over an hour to kill him?
That's also circumstantial. None of us know what went on between those two in an hour. Ruling someone out because they took a long time to murder is stupid.
Without context, I'm sure I'd say the same. But since the boiler room is unlocked, anyone can enter. If Diana knocked Wolfgang out, then took over an hour to kill him with that info in mind.
Okay, but who would enter? No one wants to make a detour down some gross, freaky-looking basement. The boiler room is probably the most covert place a person can be.
The most covert place? Her words do make sense. After all, I chose to meet
What's
Tozu in the boiler room for that very same reason.
Diana claims she didn't write the notes, and she claims she didn't shoot the gun. But where's the hard proof she didn't do any of these things?
The answer lies in what destroyed the generator.
What?
Didn't we already talk about that? All you guys did was discuss theories, never anything concrete. Selling for a theory isn't good enough when our lives are on the line. In the same way Eva can't rule out Diana's involvement in the case, we can't rule out the generators.
So we have to figure out what destroyed the generator? What should we do? Just throw out ideas?
It's what we've been doing this whole time.
Oakley dokley.
That's a new one.
Alright, everyone, let's put our thinking hats on. If we work together, we'll unravel this mystery for sure. Ready? On your marks, get set, go!
Time to agree with somebody or disagree.
Are we gonna say I agree with that, or no, that's wrong?
Shrapnel or odd smell, I
Did the
think.
generator blow up?
Could have just been an electrical fault.
So, a coincidence?
This is the best situation. To be waving stuff off as a coincidence. Did the killer throw something at the generator? Like shrapnel?
Close.
That made it explode?
Perhaps. It's the fault of the taser gun? The electrical discharge it released might have connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Probably. There's no proof anything besides the taser was involved.
Okay, so that's what we have to shoot.
In that case, the generator blew up. After Wolfie got shot with the taser.
Such a dastardly taser, leaving so many victims in its wake.
No. I'm long past the point of falling for this surface level diversion. In reality, the truth is floating just within reach. Okay, so odd smell or shrapnel for the thing Eva said. Let me just
I
read.
feel like odd smell?
Yeah.
Because it was like the only proof or something?
Right, they're like, there's nothing else. The air in the boiler room smelled like an odd combination of cereal and alcohol. John believes the smell is the result of a chemical reaction. And then the other thing is chunks of unidentified material were floating in the water near the generator. So
I
yeah,
feel like it might be odd smell.
we'll do odd smell. Shift.
No.
Oh.
That's not significant enough proof.
Damn it.
Trap.
I'm approaching this from the wrong angle. Y'all try shrapnel on
I
that.
guess it's shrapnel?
So I guess the odd smell is too abstract at this point. They'll be like, how did the bomb, like, what, how would there be a bomb there or something? It'll be like, the odd smell. I hate when it's like you have the answer, but the game's like, no, 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 not yet. You have to choose the other thing first.
We only have one health.
No,
There we
that's
go.
wrong. Yeah, we have one health. Let's, hopefully it just does what it did before, where it just reloaded. Let me see, am I able to... Like, I want to save in case the game crashes again or something. There we go. Unfortunately, Eva, I have to disagree. You say nothing but the taser could have been involved in the murder, but there's one possibility you didn't consider. The shrapnel in the water. You mean those bits of red metal which were floating around? Right. The ones that look like the aftermath of an explosion. Due to their proximity to the generator, it's safe to assume the two are connected.
Can't that just be debris left by the generator?
Except, this debris is a completely different color and lacks the rust the generator has accumulated. Yeah, she just put whatever the bomb was, like, she's put it on the generator. We're obviously looking at the remnants of something else, which means an object we haven't yet identified was caught in the explosion. And floating near it was another out-of-place item. The cord. I got it. In the water was also an extension cord, half of which had been burnt away.
Did the cord get caught in the explosion? Seems that cord had the misfortune of floating around the wrong place at the wrong time.
Unless it's the cord that caused the explosion. What I saw in my investigation, the building's extension cord supply seems to be kept inside storage closet D. So in a way, yeah, it was definitely in the wrong place. Storage closet D, huh? It was hard to make out much of it in the dark. And after the power came on, Kai came screaming for us to leave our closets. He said it's okay to be gay. But I do recall seeing some extension cords peeking out from behind a shelf.
Since we already know the killer raided one of the storage closets, anyone else willing to bet they raided this one too? The hell did they need an extension cord for?
Probs something involving the generator, given its proximity to the cord.
Same thing with the red bits, even though we don't know what they are.
Right, the red shrapnel. Definitely isn't debris left by the generator, so what exactly is it? So far, nothing in the boiler room can be directly tied to the shrapnel. At least, not any of the clues that have already been discussed in this trial. If I were to flip my thinking and consider the clues we haven't discussed yet, there's no proof what I have in mind is related to the shrapnel, but when all other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards the one that hasn't. The one thing the mysterious shrapnel might be related to. Blackout, blood spots, boiler room. His hands? We haven't discussed that. That's what was used to get out of the room.
Yeah.
I think his hands are the only thing that haven't been discussed. Like,
Yeah.
Or the odd
We did
smell.
odd smell.
Yeah, it's either the hands or the odd smell.
Okay, I guess odd smell makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. Nice work. Hold that thought. We may be able to identify the shrapnel using context clues. During the investigation, there was a strange smell permeating the boiler room. It took me a moment to notice, but when I did, well, the best way to describe the scent would be if you mix cereal and alcohol together. Cereal and alcohol? Talk about specific. My kind of breakfast. 'Tis a sign a chemical reaction was at play. Wait, you recognize the smell? Chemical reactions can produce some pretty pungent odors. Usually something to the tune of alcohol mixed with cereal, or fruits, or eggs. I noticed the smell going into the investigation, but it had completely slipped my mind until now.
Could it be a chemical reaction was caused by the taser?
The gun never touched the water. There's no reason for it to be the source of the smell.
What about the generator?
Considering the state of it, that generator would smell more burnt than anything else.
If the chemical reaction can't be explained by what we already know, like the generator or the taser gun, we need to consider the possibility that the explanation is the one piece of evidence still evading us. The shrapnel.
Can someone translate this into less complicated talk? That was just long-winded way of saying he's using process of elimination.
I know it sounds like a stretch, but if you follow this line of reasoning, a lot more questions start getting answered. Think about it. If the smell and shrapnel are linked, then whatever object the shrapnel belongs to must contain chemicals.
So we're looking for a metal object, which is also packed with chemicals?
Surely something like that would be kept inside the pharmacy.
Looking at my notes, when we originally visited the pharmacy, I recorded everything I saw. A bright red metal object would have definitely caught my eye, but I don't see one written here.
Maybe that's what the Tozu thing was?
I got lots of metal objects in my dorm room, but nothing chemical, just big old slabs of metal.
Big old slabs of metal. Why does that sound so familiar? Hold on. That's right. What Ingrid said just now is similar to what she said the night everyone began bunking together.
I guess this would explain my room too. It's littered with all sorts of fancy tools and metals.
At the time, people were talking about their dorm rooms being themed around their talents. Could it be? Could the shrapnel actually be the remnants of the unique device that guy boasted about having in his room? Do either of you know what he's talking about?
Wait, pull up the log.
Oh wait,
Oh,
it's
is there no log of what they said?
F1 is pause.
Can we look at the report card and see, like, because I don't know what would be the most, like, based on their talents, what would be the most likely person?
And it said that guy, so debater, ship captain, drag racer.
Oh, it might be him because he has like batteries and stuff.
Oh yeah, he did mention he had batteries. Okay. I think that's a good guess to go with out of everybody. Okay. We're good with thinking it's Jet.
Jet.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get the backlog back. They're very weird. I since I hate the control scheme for this, I can't remember what anything is. The only way to know for sure is to put you on the spot.
Jet.
Jert.
Jort. I got it.
Yay!
Good job.
I was helpful.
You did it. Chet, I need to ask you something. What's up?
He said chat.
Chat, help me. Can you tell me what's inside your dorm room? Like a full-on list? Whatever works. Sure thing. I got a pretty gnarly collection of parts and accessories. Blind spot mirrors, lithium batteries, wheels, spare brakes, you name it. Oh, I even have the legendary mantle from the 1984's Grand Prix winning Speedster. That's what I was hoping to hear. Cool. So, why do you want to know? Unless, wait, I'm not being suspected, am I? No, don't try to rope me into this, bro. I've got nothing to do with the murder. I know you don't. You have an alibi. The only reason I ask is because that mysterious red shrapnel may be the remnants of one of your lithium batteries. What? I see. A lithium battery might explain the smell in the air.
And lithium, that's an explosive substance. If it made contact with water, oh gosh, you'd be left with a mess and a half.
Wouldn't someone have heard an explosion, though?
I did.
Really?
During the tournament, right before we lost power.
Oh, wait, that's right. There was a boom.
Wait, I remember hearing it too.
I initially assumed the generator made the noise, somehow. But if Jet's car batteries contain an explosive substance...
Hey Jet, were your batteries bright red at all?
Maybe?
You don't know for sure?
I never took the batteries out of their packaging. The packaging isn't red, I can tell you that. But the actual batteries? Yeah, I got nothing.
And so it can't be proven beyond a reasonable doubt.
Pretty much.
Well, what's the reaction time of a lithium battery?
The reaction time?
When a lithium battery hits the water, how long does it take to combust? I think once we know that, we can decide whether or not the battery is relevant to the case.
A lithium battery would be an almost instantaneous reaction, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Lithium isn't a metal I worked with, but it got beat into my head never to mix it with substances I don't like, or it doesn't like. All that electricity the battery would have let out when it hit the water must have went straight into poor Wolfie.
Saneva says, well, no one in the game room could have done that. There's warning labels on the battery for a reason.
Okay, if the reaction is instantaneous, then the battery would have entered the water only seconds before the generator exploded. That's really weird. Is it? According to Diana's testimony, when the explosion happened, she was still holding the taser gun. In which case, who threw the battery into the water?
Huh. Good point. We can rule out Wolfgang, since the Blackened can only be a student who kills another student. And Diana... Also, that's not true.
Yeah, play the first game.
It was only Diana and Wolfgang in the boiler room, so unless Diana herself was the one to throw the battery, then the battery can't play a part in the murder.
Sammy,
Uh-huh.
you're so sus.
I,
It's not even...
I didn't throw the battery, I promise.
The shrapnel and the generator are too close for comfort. They must be correlated. I'll admit that Diana throwing the battery is a possibility, but that's all it is. A possibility. There may still be another way for the battery to enter the water, and until I've ruled that out, I won't settle for a culprit just yet. So if the battery was, like, attached, like, if it was hanging off of the cord, the wire, the extension cord.
Yeah, because the wire
Then-
got burned.
Yeah, so then she unplugged it, which caused it to drop into the water. So the battery was like dangling, attached to the wire the whole time. And it was going through the vent to the game room. So while everyone was playing, she unplugged it, and then it dropped in.
I mean, whoever did it, haha, I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not sussing somebody really hard right now.
Okay, extension cord. Violet.
If the battery is related to the case,
Like, I'm running out of things.
only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much. What?
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere.
No, that's
Okay,
wrong.
so we shoot that.
It must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described.
If that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun?
To throw us off.
Maybe it's a red herring.
Yes,
I agree
judging
with that.
by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water. I agree with that. A few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to make.
Everybody's quick to say the battery was thrown, but when I consider the boiler room and what objects the killer could have leveraged.
It was lifted down with the cord.
What that person considers impossible starts to
Toshiko.
sound anything but. Huh?
Toshiko.
Yeah, we shoot her thing.
Right here.
What?
Now's not the time for jokes.
Maybe it's a different bullet then.
The fuck? It's not meant to be one. I can still turn this debate around. Yay for baby mode. That's probably why.
Okay, extension cord,
Taser
taser gun, generator, shrapnel.
Eva said only Diana, so I guess we can shoot extension cord. We can shoot that with extension cord. Couldn't have fallen from somewhere. Yeah, because none of our clues... I feel like it's one of those things where we're getting ahead of ourselves. But, but the clues... So my next guess is shoot what Ava said with extension cord.
Maybe if we
inches.
listen to the actual voices, we'd be able to tell how to pronounce her name.
Do they have voice acting?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know that. Ava, I suppose.
I don't know, man.
She
Nope.
moved it at the last second. God damn it.
What the heck, girly?
Couldn't have fallen. I know we're right, but we just need to figure out what the game wants us to say right now. The vent. If it's not the vent, then I'll be really surprised, because they've avoided the vent the entire time. Because it's like, oh, we don't want to give that away, because then the whole case... Okay, shoot it. Okay, at least it hit.
Damon. Diana was the only other person in the boiler room.
Right. Okay. What do we have? We have extension cord. Tire extension cord flowing in the water. There's no internal plug, only a frayed tip lined with a black substance. A collection of similar looking extension cords were discovered in closet D. These ones were fully intact and the internal plugs were particularly slim. Okay, so we're probably gonna have to use that for like, how would I have gotten the thing through the vent or whatever? The extension cord. Generator. Half the generator's wires were melted and what remained intact had been completely singed. It's like a bomb went off inside the machine. What else do we have? Extension cord, taser gun, and shrapnel. Okay, there we go. Chunks of identified metal were floating. Taser gun found. So taser gun, I would assume, is
Did we use
useless.
that bullet already?
Yeah,
Or
but
did we not?
I know sometimes like you use things twice.
Oh,
I
you
think
do?
in the main games, but I think we're establishing the taser gun is totally irrelevant at this point because Ava shot it earlier. Because Diana didn't shoot it, so it's not what triggered it. So that leaves shrapnel, which that's just what we've been talking about the whole time. Extension cord, and then
Extension cord doesn't work on either
generator.
of them.
Right, and then generator. Half the generator's wires were melted. Battery couldn't have fallen.
I guess fallen from the generator?
Oh, okay, so we can shoot generator with that. We can shoot that with generator. Okay. Shrapnel. A few inches from the generator. Maybe we shoot a few inches from the... No, because we'd be agreeing with it if we said the... Like, do we shoot that with extension cord? A few inches from? Or shrap? Oh, well, we'll try whatever we just said. Generator on the thing Toshiko said.
Yeah.
Here we go. Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's wrong. Good job. You did it.
Yay.
No. The battery might actually have fallen from the generator.
Eh? What makes you say that?
Wait, why is auto... Okay, there we go. The shrapnel's position in front of the generator suggests there's a correlation between the two. However, it's unlikely Diana threw the battery at the generator. I can't talk anymore. I'm losing my power of speech. Not only is the boiler...
You're the master debater.
The master debater. Not only is the boiler room difficult to see in, the generator is positioned far enough from the concrete platform that Diana, with her wounded arm, would need to stand on the platform's edge to make the shot. Which would obviously put her in danger of being attacked by Wolfgang again.
Yeah, Wolfgang was really close. He could reach over to me if he wanted.
If the battery hadn't been thrown, the only other possibility is that it fell down into the water. And considering the layout of the boiler room, what else could the battery fall off of except the generator?
Are you saying the battery was sitting on top of the generator?
Not on top, but maybe...
Dangling.
position. Yeah, suspended over the
Suspended.
generator. I got it. The battery may have been suspended over the generator.
Suspended over?
If the battery was suspended by something, then the presence of that item starts to make a lot more sense. The wire!
The wire! We finally get to use it!
Finally! I got it! I've been waiting 4 hours to use that. The killer could have been tied to the extension cord around the battery and slung the battery over the generator.
But how would they have possibly done that?
The vent!
Wow!
Wow! The cord and battery were tied together at the time of the generator's explosion, would explain why half of the cord had been burned away.
The more you explain it, the more unbelievable it sounds.
Thanks.
What if that's the point? Maybe the killer chose a crazy method because no one would believe it. Believe it.
Naruto. Wow, it's the voice actor of Naruto, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Even sounds like him. That's crazy. Cassidy sounds just like Naruto.
No, I
Hear
don't.
it.
Wow,
I
that's
don't see
that's
how leaving a
Naruto.
cord into the mix is any more beneficial than leaving it out. If anything, the cord adds extra weight.
Obviously. Is that what you want?
Which would be especially inconvenient for Diana because her arm was bleeding.
Right. It wouldn't benefit Diana to hold the cord. So, what if she didn't? Something else may have been supporting the cord
ho,
instead.
ho.
Something
Hangman's
like...
Gambit?
Yeah, really.
no, okay.
Oh, it's this one. What was holding the cord? A third person was
third
holding the
person!
cord.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, like Diana.
That's the second person.
Okay, so it's another object.
It wasn't me, I promise.
Damn it. I don't want to cast suspicion on Diana. Okay, so an object was holding the cord.
Like a plug.
Yeah. I got it! Throughout this trial, we've assumed the killer held the battery in some form or another. If the battery was on its own, the killer tossed it in. If the battery was wrapped with a cord, the killer held the other end of the cord. But in the same way something else can hold the battery, can't something else also hold the cord?
Like the vent?
Yeah.
Like she could have like closed it a little bit so it'd stick.
Mm-hmm.
My head's starting to spin.
Are you talking about something which could keep the cord in place?
Something to keep the cord in place. If I imagine the cord and the battery it's tied around in front of the generator in the same spot where the shrapnel has surfaced.
The vent!
Vent!
The vent!
Finally! Please, go up.
Oh man.
I got it!
Yeah!
At last!
Oh, I love that vent.
The killer tied the cord to the vent.
What vent?
The
Girl.
one above the generator. It connects the boiler room and the dining hall.
There's a vent above the generator?
You should remember some light shining into the boiler room. That's where the vent is. The vent itself is set a bit far back into the wall, so you probably assumed the spot was a small window or something.
The boiler room and the dining hall are separated by one vent. Does this make the wall paper thin, or...?
There's two vents, the boiler room vent and the dining hall vent. Both are connected via a small ventilation shaft. I was able to get a close look at the boiler room vent after Ava and I woke up, which is why I know the details.
How close is close for someone under 6 foot?
Ava helped me reach the vent,
By...
letting me sit on her shoulders.
Quite the visual.
Don't rub it in. Anyway, if the killers tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end around the battery, they could suspend the battery over the generator. Something like that would result in an explosion. What do you mean? You say the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end to the battery. However, indoor extension cords are much longer than regular cords. They can be upwards of 9 or more meters in length, as opposed to the average cord's 2 meters. 9 meters is significantly longer than the distance between the vent and the boiler room floor. If the killer wanted to tie the battery to the cord's other end, they would be tying it to something which is already submerged in water.
I see. It is an impossible setup.
Unless the cord plugged all the way into the dining hall. Not necessarily. The killer can have greatly reduced the length of the cord by doing that.
Cutting it.
Cutting it, wrapping it around. Let's see. How did the killer reduce the length of the cord? Cutting it, tying the cord around Wolfgang, wrapping the cord around the battery. I think if they cut it, yeah, if they cut it, when it just all... I'll try wrapping. I got it! The extension cord is pretty thin and flimsy. If the killer wanted the battery to be secure, they'd need to wrap a lot of cord around it. Probably to the point there wouldn't be much spare cord remaining. Which is a good thing, because this spare cord is what the battery will be suspended by. So long as the spare cord isn't too long, the battery will sit safely above the water. Yeah, so much effort. Agreed. How do you even submerge the battery into the water under those circumstances? How? Simple. By adjusting the cord's position. All the killer would need to utilize is a certain aspect of the boiler room. A certain aspect of the boiler room. The vent again? I don't understand.
They show the question? F2.
What did the killer use to adjust the cord's position?
Probably the vent.
Yeah.
It's either the vent or the generator because it would have like hung off of it.
Yeah. I got it. So we had to choose
Guess
vent
it's the vent
twice in a
again?
row.
Okay.
Like I
I mean, I
mentioned
like
earlier.
you a lot, Vent, but like I don't love you that much.
Like, bro. Like I mentioned earlier, I gave the vent a close look after originally waking up in the boiler room. Part of my inspection included opening the vent to get a better look at the other side. The vent can be opened?
It's a vent.
Not all the way, but far enough for the vent to cause a domino effect if then closed. Yeah, it's called a vent, not a wall. In our case, a domino effect involving the extension cord tied to it. If we assume the vent must be open for the battery to remain a safe distance above the water, we end up with a pulley system. To prevent the battery from entering the water, the vent is literally pulling the entire cord backwards. Ergo, it's not just the killer's own measurements keeping the battery in place, but the vent itself. Having opened one of these vents before, I can tell you how tough they are to move. Wrapping my fingers around the grate directly in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could. A lightweight battery definitely isn't heavy enough to pull one shut. It takes an actual person to close one. Which is great for the killer because it means they get to maintain full control over when the battery enters the water. If they close the vent, the cord should slide forward and submerge the battery into the water. When that happens, the boiler room water becomes electrified by the battery's components, which in turn causes electricity to pass directly into the body of Wolfgang, who is standing in the water.
Exactly which vent is the cord being tied to?
The boiler room vent.
Funny. Earlier, you said there's a small vent shaft connecting the boiler room vent to the dining hall vent. Assuming the killer is operating this shaft from outside the boiler room, since we know there were only ever 2 people in that room, how would they even be able to reach the boiler room vent?
They were in the gaming competition.
Like
Yeah.
you said, there's a separate vent in front of it.
Huh. She has a point. I've been assuming the cord is tied to the boiler room vent,
How would you let that fall then, dum-dum?
but I failed to consider the ventilation shaft. It becomes considerably harder to reach the boiler room vent if you have to reach down that shaft first.
Huh?
It was just tied to the game room shaft, the dining
Yeah,
room.
why did he think otherwise?
Because he hasn't figured out yet that the killer was one of the people in the game room.
He's kind of stupid.
But to be fair, they're all stupid. Not just that. I never tested to see if the boiler room vent can open inwards. I only got it to open outwards. By that logic, a vent on the opposite side of the shaft... This can only mean one thing. The killer never tied the cord to the boiler room vent. They tied the cord to the dining hall vent.
Obviously.
That just creates the same problem as before, but reversed. Instead of the dining hall vent making it hard to close the boiler room vent, it's the boiler room vent making it hard to reach the dining hall vent.
While the vents may seem like an obstruction, especially since they can't be opened all the way, there's a very easy workaround. All the killer needs to do is fit the extension cord between the grates of the boiler room vent.
Oh yeah, the grates. I mentioned something about them earlier. Right, when you described opening the boiler room vent.
My fingers around, I pulled as hard as I could.
We just had that flashback.
Yeah.
If you can fit your fingers between the grates, there's no damn way you can't fit a cord.
Exactly. After which, you can slide the cord through the ventilation shaft and out the opposite end. For the killer to then go and tie to the... actually...
Oh, hey, we each get one of these.
Oh, yeah, we do. Hello? What the Sigma? What is it now? There's something I still don't understand about your theory. It's to do with the logistics of the cord. The logistics? Its size. We're back to discussing this again? Never mind, I'll find a way to combat his argument, just like I've done countless times already.
Come on, bargain bin.
Extension cord generator blackout. I understand the boiler room vent can be opened. Maybe not all the way, but enough to fit as extension cord through. What's bothering me, however, is that boiler room vent was closed during the investigation, which means it must have been closed during the murder. His arguments might have made sense if it weren't for one fatal flaw. Boo. Okay, so I have to shoot that. It was closed during the murder. Okay, so what do I have? I have extension cord, blackout, and generator. Blackout? During the investigation. During the murder? There were no opportunities for the killer to enter the boiler room and close the vent. From my understanding, you and Kai entered the boiler room after you heard Diana leave, which hypothetically gives the killer only minutes to close the vent. Assuming the killer is a third party. A third party? Damn, the last thing I need is people doubting Kai and I. I need to rethink my approach. I guess...
Why not Kai, huh?
Kai the killer. I have to fit an extension cord through. I gotta say, these sections, I hate them the most. I can never think during them. I like never know. Like even in the original games, I don't know what I'm doing in these parts. Extension cord, generator, extension cord. So it was closed during the investigation. I'll just cut the other thing with extension cord. Bam. Try that. It's never... My notes say it was closed, and I'm fairly confident in my notes. Questioning the validity of his notes is definitely not the move. I don't understand what's going on. If either of you know.
That's not extension cord.
That the boiler room vent was closed during the investigation, which means it must have been closed during the murder. Okay, why didn't you let me do that before? I don't see a problem here, stupid game. The killer doesn't even need to open that vent. Because they could simply slide the cord between the grates. Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. How can the killer fit both those plugs between the gaps in the thing? Either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point. That is my issue. Duel.
Go.
His argument might have made sense if it weren't for one fatal flaw.
It was cut.
How do I use that? None of my things are related to that.
Might
The
just be
gaps.
extension cord.
What? Yeah. I tried using it and it didn't work. Sorry, you're insane. Okay, so I'll try cutting the first thing. There we go. No, that's wrong. Thank God that hell's over. It's probably my least favorite mini game from the official series.
I want them to skateboard.
If we come this far, I don't know if it's gonna happen. It would be pretty sweet though. If you insert the cord through the boiler room vent first, it's possible to fit the cord through. You insert the cord through the boiler vent. You just need to start with the internal plug. The cords in the storage closet D have a slim internal end. This can easily be slid through the gaps in the vent. Once the killer ties the cord around the dining hall vent, presumably with a knot, the cord won't be at risk of sliding back out either. I see. When put like that, whether or not the boiler room vent wasn't closed isn't really relevant.
How'd you figure all this out from some crazy shrapnel and extension cord? This is crazy.
At the same time, what he's describing sounds plausible. Since the battery was suspended over the generator, it's no surprise the machine ended up the way it did. Fortunately for Diana, she was safe by virtue of remaining on the platform. I imagine that was also the killer's intention.
The killer kept her on the platform?
They must have known they were injecting Wolfgang with a hallucinogenic, so it's possible they hoped his behavior would scare Diana off from entering the water. Although, even if Diana did die, the moment people realize only she and Wolfgang entered the boiler room, they probably call the whole thing a murder gone wrong.
Well, all of this certainly changes things.
Huh?
If the killer is someone who needed access to the vent, needed to be operating from the dining hall, then everyone who attended the tournament is a suspect.
Now we're getting on track.
What?
No way! One of the tournament attendees is the killer? Damn it! How did I not realize sooner?
Mark.
I don't know, dude. It was pretty obvious.
The player figured it out a while ago. The fact the killer could have even accessed the vent means they must have been in the dining hall at the time of Wolfgang's murder.
They should have just written Eva in blood.
They should have written... Yeah. So we can reduce it down to 8 people. Damon, Kai, Grace, Ava, Cassidy, Jet, Mark, and John.
It was probably Cassidy. She set the whole thing up.
Hey, I was only trying to improve the mood.
It wasn't me. I was playing a game with Demon when the lights went out.
That's right. Kai, you're safe.
I
Kai's
had to
innocent.
play music. Me too.
Huh?
You never touched my equipment.
It's to be that obvious.
I meant I was watching Kai and Damon
No,
play.
you weren't. You weren't in the picture, Eva.
I was spectating as well.
Me too.
Like, it doesn't have to be so obvious. Telegraph it. Me 3, and Cass 2, I think. I was too focused on the game to remember who was or wasn't there.
If everyone's telling the truth, then all 8 of y'all were crowded around the same spot. Near the right wall where the TV was set up. It's also the furthest wall from the vent. Seems like someone is lying again.
Who's the ultimate liar?
The tournament participant who flipped the vent. I could deduce who that person is by determining everyone's positions directly before the blackout.
You remember that?
The problem is, I myself have been totally preoccupied with the game. I never got a good look at the actual people around me. Never got a good look. Wait, is that it? Well, I never got a good look at the others. I can still deduce their general positions, and if they were near me.
By their voices, I guess.
From whether or
Yeah.
not I heard them. Think, Damon, think.
You know it wasn't Kai.
Who and what did I hear back then? It was you. The only person I never heard was you. Bye, Eva.
Eva, you. Where are you? You went the wrong way.
I know, I did that both
Yes.
times. I got it. The killer is Ava.
Huh?
Ava is the only one whose position I can't account for. Mark was mixing a track at the time Kai and I were playing a game, so I know he must have been stationed at his pad. And everyone else, I remember hearing their voices over the sound of the game. Everyone except Ava. In fact, the last I saw her, she was standing in the corner of the room with the vent. So Eva flipped the vent?
Man. And the reason no one heard it is because the music was too loud.
Don't blame me. I was just doing what I was told.
Just following orders.
No one's blaming you. We're all in on Eva. Care to contribute anything, Eva? I didn't flip the vent.
Good defense.
Me too.
Well, Damon says you did. Damon says a lot of things.
What
What the Sigma? Well, you aren't technically wrong. I don't think that counts as an argument.
His theory is full of plot holes. He just refuses to point them out.
What plot holes?
The cord.
What?
In retrospect, you were so quick to accuse me that you overlooked a huge problem with the cord. If I'm the killer, how did I dispose of it?
Dropped it in the water.
Trick question. You left the cord tied to the vent.
What then? It unraveled by itself and fell into the water?
Yeah, you got me there.
She unraveled it in the dark,
Yeah, no one
and then
would
it
have
plopped into
seen.
the water.
How did Eva get rid of the cord? I'm sure
Blackout.
it's possible if she knew to untie it at the right time. Yet, blackout. When did she untie it?
Even a
During
the
the
blackout.
blackout. I got it. To dispose of the cord, you just untied it during the blackout.
She untied the knot during a blackout? That's like never heard before.
Being the one who set up the trap, Ava could easily have practiced untying the knot in advance. Or she just made it a really simple knot. I mean,
I feel like it would make more sense if she untied it and then it fell into the water rather than her just like moving the grate forward.
yeah.
Right, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why there's this whole thing of flipping it when it's just like, just untie it.
Yeah.
I mean, it does this
So
exact
much
same
easier.
thing.
And then she doesn't have to take an extra second to untie it after the blackout.
Yeah.
Right. And Diana lockpicked a door in the dark, so I think, untying a thing would be pretty easy. Either way, it wouldn't be any more difficult than untying your shoelaces with your eyes closed.
If I untied the cord, did it also fall into the water?
Yes.
Diana's testimony says as much.
Also, we saw it.
Yeah.
It does?
During your confrontation with Wolfgang, you recounted hearing certain sounds.
Oh.
We got it. We got the sounds. The crack, snap, crackle, pop, rice bomb. Plop.
Plop.
First sound was obviously the battery exploding. And the second, when you first recounted the story, you said was the sound of the knife hitting the water. But why would a thin knife make such a big splash?
Then, do you think?
What really caused that sound was probably the extension cord falling into the water.
When you say it that way, it does seem likelier. I should have known. The kid who lied about her talent and tried to lie about Tozu's trinkets. I should have known. I should have known only Eva fucking Tsunaka would kill Wolfgang.
Gundam Tanaka?
You're right. Gundam Tanaka. Who's that? Eva lied to us several times already.
Ultimate Animal Guy.
But she's just a mathlete. How did someone like her come up with something this complicated?
Because she's not just a mathlete, her talent wasn't.
She was good
accurate.
at everything.
Her talent would give her the upper hand in all that measurement nonsense.
Even so, the sheer volume of items Eva had to steal. She's been under heavy suspicion these past few days. How did she sneak into Jet in Desmond's rooms without being noticed?
It's impossible. Wolfgang even got mad at me for being late to the dining hall by a few minutes.
You were late because...
I've been watched the entire time I've been here. There's no way Jet wouldn't have noticed me taking his battery.
Right on. No one steals from me.
They already did.
Oh.
And anyway, how could I enter the cord through the boiler room vent when I can't even reach the top of the generator? If anything, you should be suspicious of the taller students.
Good defense. I understand why people are doubtful, but I can't let the conversation continue like this. Ava did, in fact, have a way to reach the vent. All she had to use...
Was the boxes?
Boxes?
They look like they have water damage on it?
I don't know. I guess just the generator should like hop up on
Just
it.
climb onto it, but it does say like warning, all that stuff on it. Which
I
one?
mean, maybe just do the boxes.
Boxes. Ava grabbed one of the boxes on the concrete platform and placed it next to the generator.
Setting myself up. Removing a box would reduce the amount of boxes on the platform from 3 to 2.
Yeah, you move it back.
Flexing your mathematical prowess, I see. I'm saying Damon would have noticed if a box was missing, since there's so few of them to start with.
You overestimate us.
But he never noticed anything because there were just as many boxes as there were last time.
Couldn't you just move the box back after using it?
Then the underside of the box would be wet, which it wasn't.
This I can confirm. My notes on the box's exteriors mention nothing about watermarks.
Unless you
Damn
did
it.
it like the day before.
Yeah, damn it, Damon. What were you thinking? Okay, what did she use? The generator? The vent? The vent a third time?
Can't possibly.
Okay, I guess I'll click on the generator. There's these boxes here, but...
Are you able to highlight whatever is clickable?
No. That's F and it's not doing anything. Generator?
Generator, I guess? I'm not tall enough to reach that high.
Right. So just the vent for a third time.
Again?
I'm gonna try that, then my only other guess would be the boxes that are on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so other boxes?
I got it!
So I
It's
was
literally
right.
still the boxes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's stupid. You were right. Eva, to reach the top of the generator, you simply stood on one of the boxes in the boiler room. There's already a huge pile of them near the generator itself. You could easily push one up against the machine. Ah, she would have known about the boxes in advance too, since she explored the boiler room with you ahead of time.
Okay. I could have used the boxes to reach the top of the generator. And I could have hit the cord through both vents if I inserted the right plug. I can do both of those things without attracting suspicion. What I can't do without attracting suspicion is opening the vent.
Eh? Which vent are we talking about?
The dining hall one. Based on what Damon's saying, it needs to be opened for the killer's trap to work. But opening it during the tournament is asking to be caught, and opening it before the tournament is useless because Jet, Cassidy, and Mark would see it while setting up.
You did it. Wait. Well, maybe he was blasting music before. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're right. If there was an open vent with a cord tied to it, I would have noticed for sure. They stacked all the tables and chairs in front of it.
That's true.
Now that Eva mentions it, I'm pretty sure the vent was closed during the setup.
The vent was closed?
See, there's no way I could execute this trap without being caught. It's a stupid trap anyway. All the cord and vent stuff is too complicated. There's a billion ways it could go wrong. Damon's just making stuff up. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Sound pretty defensive there.
What the? That's bull.
Can you four eyes? Wait, can it, you four eyes troll? You can't talk your way out of this one.
Shit.
The only person who would be sick-minded enough to kill Wolfgang is you and only you. Don't you fucking try and tell me otherwise.
Not the best defense, but glad you're on my side. Extension cord,
My boyfriend
shrapnel,
died.
storage closets, game tournament timeline?
I can't. Oh, that's not me.
Violet.
Because that near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are. And you despised him because of it. you have a motive.
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that? Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes.
That's even less evidence for that.
Evidence? No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game room tournament, and now you're saying I'm a killer?
Never mind what was said before. Focus on the facts. I just need to focus.
I think it might be game room.
Yeah, timeline.
Timeline.
Mm-hmm.
It's because she was never on the thing.
Yeah. Wasn't closing the vent. Something else. You have any evidence to prove that? Can't guarantee it operate the way Dan described. Battery, extension cord, special knot. No, the stupid holding shift for too long. Shift's a bad button to make for fast forward. Then my
Just turn off your
computer-
sticky key.
I don't know how to do these
That one?
things.
Yeah.
No, that's wrong. Break. No. It's no coincidence you were at the game tournament. In fact, it's not even a coincidence the tournament took place during the murder.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, didn't she decide the time for it? Remember where they're like, should we do it in the morning or the afternoon? And Eva was like, let's do it in the morning. It was impossible for me not to notice this earlier, but the killer timed the tournament so it would grant them an alibi for the murder.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Are you accusing me of murder again? I thought you said Eva was the culprit.
The detective isn't supposed to switch suspects in the last stretch like this. You're totally throwing the audience for a loop, and not in a good way.
Except neither of you played a role in determining what time the tournament would be held. The only person to determine that was Eva.
Blah, 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 when I'm studying at 9 a.m. Yeah, I like studying at 9 a.m. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I like 9 a.m. That's pretty cool.
Ava knew she would be in the dining hall tomorrow, so when Cassie announced the tournament, she realized it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to create an alibi for herself.
That's insane. How could you come up with something like that on the spot?
It wasn't just for an alibi either. Since Ava knew about the tournament, she could time the setup of her trap accordingly. So to answer her question of why neither Cassidy, Jet, nor Mark noticed the open vent, when I think back on what Cassidy told me earlier today, before the tournament
They
began,
pushed all to the corner.
I can discern exactly when Ava opened the vent. When did she open it? After stacking the
After
furniture?
Stacking furniture.
I got it. Cassidy, you told me Ava approached you yesterday and asked to help set up the tournament. What exactly did she say?
When did I tell you this again?
Before the tournament.
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, Eva wanted to see what sort of equipment the tournament needed. After I showed her Mark's stuff and told her we were redecorating the dining hall, she offered to help.
Back when this conversation happened, you still hadn't decided what time you were going to start the redecorating, right?
Yeah, it's kinda embarrassing. Eva really helped me out, though. She said she would stack the dining hall furniture we weren't going to use later that night. Afterwards, we could focus purely on arranging the technical stuff in the morning.
Alright, then tell me what happened last night.
Jet, Mark, Eva, and I came to the dining hall at, around 8:40 p.m., probably? We stacked the table and the dining chairs against the left wall, and the sofas we moved to the middle of the room. Maybe a little more to the right. Then, we all went back to our dorms. Well, I was kinda hungry, so I stayed back a few minutes before leaving.
Hold the phone. If the sofa chairs were moved to the middle of the room, why did I see one over in the corner this morning?
Because Eva pushed it there.
Eva, what?
She didn't want to take part in the tournament, just watch it from the side. That's what she told me.
Yes.
I never thought it was weird or anything. Some people just like sticking to the walls of rooms, you know?
We're talking about the sofa in the upper left corner, the one next to the coffee table.
Yes, sir, Eva.
Yo, when the power went out, I'm pretty sure Damon ran over to that corner to look through. Yeah, a vent!
Did she move the chair there so it'd be easier to reach the vent later?
Why would I when Cassidy just said the vent was closed during setup?
Because you were covering for yourself in advance.
Huh?
The vent may not have been open at the time, but I'm willing to bet that's because you were still creating your trap.
In what way?
Let's say Ava took a detour for the boiler room first and slid the internal plug through both vents. After going upstairs and helping rearrange the dining hall furniture, during which she moves the sofa chair so it obscures the vent, she heads outside and hides until everyone else goes to bed. Then she walks back in and opens the vent.
So, Ava took complete advantage of them.
Not my fault those two were so trusting.
You'd think a big guy like me was gonna be afraid of some mathlete? No way!
I mean, she did lie a lot about important things. Her talent being one of them.
She also cried and fled the scene after we found out, no? I just thought it was cool she wanted to help me out.
Hey, can we backtrack a little? Like, to before all this Eva talk.
Why? What happened?
It's to do with the chair position.
The chair?
You guys kept saying it was in front of the vent, but Damon stood in front of the vent during the blackout. If the chair was in the position you all say it was, it should have been blocked from him from crouching in front of the vent.
Ava probably just moved it during the blackout. Before the blackout, it was positioned with its back to the left wall. However, when I ran over to the vent, the chair was suddenly pushed up against the northern wall, out of the vent's range. Ava must have shifted the chair while everyone was initially panicking from the blackout. I'm guessing she hoped people would misremember its position and think it was always along the northern wall.
Oh man, so I totally fell for it?
I also remember seeing a speaker in that corner.
Yeah, about that. This morning, Jet, Mark, and I arrived at the dining hall a little after 8 a.m. Then Eva came a few minutes later. She helped us put together Mark's equipment, which was stationed in the lower right corner of the room. And then she volunteered to place speakers around the room while Jet and I set up the TV next to the fireplace.
Moving a speaker near the vent. Did Eva do that to drown out Diana and Wolfgang's scuffle?
Yeah. And in turn, exasperate the effects of the other speakers. There were almost a dozen spread throughout the dining hall, someone even sandwiched in the corners that they didn't need to be. Ava probably placed them that way to cover as much ground as possible.
Still. You entered the dining hall at 8:10 a.m., right? So, wouldn't it be impossible for her to knock out Lawyer Man at 8:15 a.m.?
According to Ava, she arrived around 8:10 a.m., but it's possible she actually arrived much later. Since there's no clock in the dining hall, we just couldn't have known. In fact, that might be why Ava seemed so eager to arrange Mark's equipment in the morning. Upon realizing it had a clock, she wanted to ensure it would only be powered on after she arrived. It seems the setup of this trap occurred across 3 phases. Phase 1 took place in the boiler room and involved tying a lithium battery to an extension cord. The cord was then slid through the grates of the closed boiler room vent, presumably until it almost poked out the other end of the ventilation shaft. Phase 2, by contrast, was carried out in the dining hall. The aforementioned cord was tied around the dining hall vent, which was then left open. This must have happened after Cassidy, Mark, and Jet were already done redecorating. For the third and final phase, the battery was carefully suspended over the generator. All these steps combined create a pulley system, which could only be triggered by closing the dining hall vent. Is there anything I'm missing?
How I closed the vent. No one has explained how I closed the dining hall vent.
You just closed it.
Obviously, I didn't do it during the blackout. According to Damon, the blackout can only happen after the vent is closed. So, I must have stood up, gone behind the chair, and closed the vent during the tournament.
Yeah, nobody saw you.
That's stupid. Someone is definitely going to notice that sort of conspicuous movement.
Not when everyone's focused on the video game.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if that someone is on the opposite side of the room. They're going to notice. Why did we overlook such an obvious discrepancy?
Ava's right. Standing up would look really suspicious, which is exactly why she used that to circumvent the problem. Just the TV.
Probably.
Hey, the tournament equipment is innocent. It was on the other side of the room from Ava.
That's exactly my point.
Yeah. Why did I even suggest that?
Oh my god.
I can still turn this debate around. Okay. What distracted
chairs?
us? These ones?
Yeah. No.
I don't know why you're pointing fingers at some random chair. It looks pretty normal to me.
Right. The chair's too far from the vent to be suspicious.
But
What are they
Maybe
talking
the
about?
chair next to the vent?
Yeah. Because she was just... Yeah, because she was sitting in it. I got it. That's why she didn't get up and move. She was just there the whole time.
yeah, she just like leaned it over.
Yeah. The location of your chair bypasses this problem entirely. To close the vent, all you need to do is set the chair to recline and reach behind you.
The chair to recline?
All the dining hall chairs have the ability to recline. Some were already set to that position at the start of the tournament, including Ava's.
Our school's that rich?
Apparently.
guys.
With her chair in recline, Ava can easily reach down and close the vent without shifting from her position. It's not perfectly inconspicuous, but it's subtle enough to not catch most people's attention. Especially those focused on watching a video game competition. Well, am I wrong?
This isn't funny. Just because I was sitting in front of the vent doesn't mean I was the one who triggered the mechanism.
Who else could it possibly have been of us?
Yeah. No one can sneak up behind you without drawing attention, especially when all the lights were still on.
It's just dumb. Where I was sitting shouldn't make me a murderer.
Even so, with everything we've spoken about,
Everything. Did you already forget what was said earlier?
Are you finally going to talk about how Wolfgang was pricked with the hallucinogenic?
Yeah.
Just look at all the items I would need to set up this murder.
That's like the only unsolved thing yet.
Battery, the extension cord, the rolling pin, the taser, the syringe, and the supposed drug used with it. How could I have collected all of those things? Wolfgang and everyone else hated me because I lied about my talent.
Damon
They were on their
didn't,
guard
though.
whenever I was around. You think Jed and Desmond would just let me walk into their rooms and take their stuff?
That's true. We still haven't explained how she robbed 2 people's rooms without being caught.
Unless you can prove I had the chance to get all this stuff, you can't make me out to be the killer.
Fine.
Huh?
I'll show you proof. Only you could obtain the items necessary for this murder. How did I ever obtain the items?
You asked nicely.
She had Desmond's blackmail.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, she did. I got it. Ava, you were well aware of the existence of those items. For starters, everyone heard about Jet's battery. It was common knowledge due to his boasting.
Wait, so it's all my fault? Youch.
Since those dorms aren't locked, you could have easily snuck in and grabbed the battery while no one was inside. The battery is lightweight too, so you wouldn't have trouble carrying it. For the rest of your plan, the syringe and drugs are both readily available in the pharmacy. And as for the taser, you may not have known about its existence right away, but you still had every incentive to search Desmond's room. Because you received his blackmail.
Eva, you knew my blackmail the whole time and never said anything?
So what?
Damon had Wolfgang's and he didn't say anything.
Huh? Yes, she hasn't thrown that out, but I guess it's too late now.
So what if I knew? I wasn't the only one. Damon knew your blackmail as well. Oh yeah, he read it out loud to everyone earlier, didn't he? Damon knew almost everything I did. He knew where the items used in this murder were stored, he knew the layout of the boiler room and the storage closets, he knew all sorts of things.
But he was in the gaming competition.
Yeah.
The only thing he didn't know is the one thing more important than any piece of physical evidence.
The hell are you talking about?
See, you still don't know. You still don't know that we never saw eye to eye.
Huh?
Eye to eye? On the not killing each other stuff?
On Wolfgang.
Eh,
Damon saw the way Wolfgang scolded me and treated me like a bad guy, and he thought I hated him the same way he did. But unlike Damon, I never wanted Wolfgang to die.
What the?
Whoa, that's a loaded accusation.
Not at first for this trial. If you thought you saw the worst of Damon after the dummy trial, you underestimate just how low he can stoop. I practically risked my life pretending to be his ally, but in return, he let me see the extent of his deceitfulness. Which is why I can tell everyone that Damon has Wolfgang's blackmail. Eh? Oh gosh!
Eva, you...
Any reason you didn't tell us this earlier? Well, I didn't think it was incriminating at first. Not even when he refused to come forward about it. That was weird, but I didn't want to make accusations at the time, because it just had been his ego talking. Only after watching him reject the taser gun over this dumb mechanism he made up, did I realize I had potential evidence on my hands.
Damon, do you have your blackmail on you? Don't worry about reading it out loud or anything. Just show the image. That's all you gotta do.
Did Ava really never trust me? Why then? Did she disclose so much to me? Why'd she tell me? To trick me. No. This can't be at the forefront of my mind right now. I'm on the cusp of bringing this case to a close. What Ava thinks about me shouldn't matter. What she thinks about me.
Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah blah.
Damn it. Damn it. This entire time I've been judging the others for how trusting they are, not even realizing I was blindly following the words of a stranger. And now everyone here, they're gonna hold this blackmail crap against me, even more than if I just come forward earlier. Even so, what choice do I have? No one will let the discussion continue unless I tell the truth. Fine, I'll show it. But only the picture as requested. With those words, I retrieved the envelope from my pocket and pulled out the photo.
He's married?
Ingrid, Wolfgang doesn't have blue eyes.
White dragon?
So who is this then? His
What?
parents?
He doesn't have blue eyes, white dragon.
I mean, why else would the guy look like him?
Given the year this photo was taken, these two people must be his parents. Look at what's printed on the bottom. April 17th, 2001. We know how old Wolfgang is because of the student reports. In 2001, he wasn't even born yet.
But why his parents? Are they being held against their will?
You can't leave us hanging, Damo. You gotta read out what it says.
That's not what was asked of me. And even if I had to, I don't think someone who can't explain himself should have his secrets revealed to everyone. Some things are better left unsaid. For the record, I know what Wolfgang's blackmail says, but it didn't change my outlook on him. I don't think it's possible for anyone to hate someone like Wolfgang. He was always brave in the face of sheer adversity, and encouraged everyone else to act likewise. Wolfgang challenged me to be a better person. Wolfgang challenged all of us to be better people. And maybe Ava simply couldn't rise to his challenge.
Don't listen to him. He's trying to divert everyone from the truth.
Even though Wolfgang and I didn't always see eye to eye, my respect for him and his talent never wavered. Why would someone like me harm him? Me, who's been leading this trial much the same way he led the one before.
And especially if it was Damon, why would he, try and make it so Diana wasn't incriminated anymore? That doesn't make any sense. He had her pinned down, and then he was like, wait, let's go back a second.
Yeah, that's the thing. You get 4 hours into writing a trial, and then it's like, well, actually, this thing he did at the beginning makes it obvious that he's not, but there's so much stuff to remember. Good point. I may question the idea no one here would kill, but that doesn't make me someone who wants to see bloodshed.
He does. He does want bloodshed.
He's an animal.
We have all the proof he's a cold-blooded killer.
All of you are
Wolfgang's
animals.
blackmail, which he lied about having.
But wasn't Damon playing?
Nothing he says should be trusted. Nothing he says about me or anything else.
It is odd that we place faith in a man who does not have faith in us. So much so, these discussions are mostly led by his own conjecture.
That's because none of you want to say anything.
Damon isn't the killer, though. Why would he try to mislead anyone? He and I were playing the game when the murder happened, and multiple people can vouch for us.
Not to mention, the things you've been saying make a lot of sense.
Truth has no personal alliance. That's why.
Even if he wasn't here, we'd arrive at the same conclusion anyway.
They would have killed Diana. They would have killed Diana.
You're the one who's like, let's have her explain after we vote for her.
Let's kill her and then hear her out.
Depends who you mean by we. Then, you all still think I'm the killer? Someone needs to be voted by the end of this.
Don't say it like that.
Huh?
Youch! My ears!
Well, I kept it down so your ears wouldn't get hurt.
Oh, thanks.
How? How would I know? How would I know when to drop it? Drop what? The battery!
What do you mean when?
Damon says the killer dropped the battery when Diana was already in the boiler room. But how would I know when Diana was in the boiler room?
The
Did you send the
note.
note?
The note. Yeah.
It's not as if I could just listen out for her. The music speakers are too loud. And the dining hall has no clocks, so it'd be impossible for anyone to know if it was 8:45 a.m.
We started the tournament at 9?
9.
Yeah. Right. Only Mark's DJ pad had a clock.
Maybe Ava asked Mark for the time. She never spoke to me. I don't speak to anyone. We never spoke. I never even got up from my chair. Besides, how could I be sure Diana arrived on time anyway? If you can't explain how I knew when to drop the battery, then shut up and stop accusing me.
Ava makes a decent point. How did she drop the battery in time? Does she just rely on chance? No, that doesn't seem likely. Her entire plan fails if the timing isn't right. Come on, think! If my years of debate have taught me anything, I need to look at this from another angle. If I just take it from the top, while assuming Ava is the killer.
Well, when you calculate when I started the clock...
She
saw?
Saw Diane? Because she see through the vent?
Maybe? That's the only thing that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unless you check the time, because like the way it was set up, his computer was facing her, so she could have just like looked over and saw the time.
I guess just choose one of them.
Okay. She checked the time?
No.
Even if she knew the time, it's too risky to assume Diana would arrive on the dot. Not to mention the fact Diana would need to be clear of the water before the trap could be activated. Which means there's only one solid way for the plan to work.
So I guess she just saw
I had
her.
to see her.
Huh. I got it. She saw through the vent. Somehow. The only way the killer would have known when to spring their trap was by seeing Diana enter the room. Any uncertainty would ruin the plan, and the dining hall was too loud to hear anything over. So where'd she watch Diana from? There are only two possible places. The vent?
Oh, security.
The security camera, but how
would she have access to that?
No.
did she...
The Vaunt.
The Vaunt?
But she'd have to be like peering over herself. She had like.
I mean, she can just stand where she has a clear view.
Or maybe
But she was sitting the whole time.
maybe the Tozu...
We're fine.
The Tozu secret is you can hack the cameras and see through them or something.
Maybe.
The pharmacy secret? I don't know, but I'll say vent. So maybe she could see the Tozu camera through the 3DS or her watch, and that was the thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the thing that she got from the pharmacy secret. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Do you want to read it, or?
No. Trying to look into the boiler room through the vent is impossible.
I should have known better than to suggest something like that. Let's try that. I got it.
Camera.
It's impossible to see anything from the vent, which means the only way anyone could see into the room was by using the school cameras.
Say what?
I don't understand how, but Ava must have used the camera.
Is she working with the kidnapper?
Are you kidding me? How the hell would I have access to the camera?
In order to actually see what was happening on the security cameras, what would Ava need access to? Naturally, it would have to be some sort of screen. Her 3DS and her watch. The 3DS, I guess. A screen, huh? Thinking back on the various...
She does have a 3DS.
Yeah, that's what she was playing when we talked to her. But it had security camera thing. Thinking back on all the various clues we discussed, I can't pinpoint anything which could provide an answer to that question. Huh. Feels like deja vu, doesn't it? And all other options are ruled out. I can only turn towards the one which still remains. The one thing we've yet to discuss.
How did she stab him in the neck?
Yeah, Ava, it's time I bring an end to what you started. For better or for worse, this one will be your final lie. It's time to solve the final piece. However, it won't be without a fight. Announcing argument altercation. This game, your opponent battle each other in a bullet hell extravaganza. Dodge your opponent's attacks, shoot down their arguments, and solve the case.
Ooh, good luck.
Yeah. Focus is shift, F is mega bullet, space is noise bullet. Okay. Okay. So like, okay. Noise bullets, spacebar are white bullets which can destroy statements. They decrease Damon's mega bullet gauge and weakens the opponent's shields. Mega bullets F are green and can pierce attacks and deal damage. Mega bullet, HP bar, focus meter, HP bar, shield gauge. Okay. Spacebar, you can focus. Your opponent will fire their own bullets. They will also make statements of their own, which will appear as orange text. They also start the game with a shield. Worry not, you weaken their shield by that. Make the statements, charge your mega bullet, press F to fire. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. Argument, altercation.
Oh my gosh, it's so Toho. Why would I kill anyone? There's no proof I killed Wolfgang.
There's so much proof.
This isn't fair. Why would I kill anyone?
Okay.
I just wanted to help. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang again. You can't beat me at Toho. I'm a master at Toho.
This is pretty tough.
Damon, I thought you trusted me.
Oh, jeez. Now it's inverted.
Here's about the camera.
Oh, jeez. I thought you trusted me, but you just said you were just lying the whole time. Oh, jeez.
Don't trust this.
Man.
I didn't see anything. Except you being bad at Toho. It's Damon who's suspicious. Your Toho skills are suspicious.
Well, I don't play this genre of game.
Bad. Ooh, look at these. These are bouncing. These are bouncing. These are bouncing. Ooh.
I don't know what that means.
Why won't you believe me?
I like the art style that they drew that in.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to help. Ooh, I hope you're good at Toho. I hope you're good at Toho.
I don't even know what Toho is.
It's this
bullet hell
Japanese
of bullet
bullet hell
hells.
game. They make a bunch of them. But I've never... The only thing I played is Tohomon.
Objection.
Overruled.
How could I access the security camera?
Ava's personal...
Personal game console.
No! God damn it. I knew it was personal game console. I hit the wrong thing. God damn it. I always hate those moments too.
Come on, come on.
Ava's personal
game console.
Ava's personal game console. Whew.
Yeah.
That was hard. That was only for the first case. What you said was true, Ava. Whether or not the trap works depends on if the killer can see inside the boiler room. Which begs the question, how does the killer see inside? They can't just get on their knees and peek through the vent. Everyone in the dining hall would notice. Besides, the vent probably offers very little in the way of an actual view of the room.
Exactly. It's impossible.
Right. It's impossible. From this particular angle. If I switch perspectives, your entire argument comes completely undone.
What do you mean?
Ava assumes I'm taking only one factor into account, her position at the time of Wolfgang's murder. Little does she know that in ruling out that factor, she's led me straight to another. A certain item which could have granted her the ability to see inside the boiler room. An item that, like the chemical smell, only makes sense when all other options have been ruled out. The game console she brought with her to the tournament.
Ava, or, you know, she had a game console?
She wanted to get in the spirit of the tournament without being directly involved, or so she claimed. But when every other option has been ruled out, what else can we look to but the one that's yet to be addressed?
Are you saying she saw inside the boiler room using the console?
So it played live footage of the room? Sounds like a stretch.
If I'm wrong, Ava should be able to prove her innocence. Go on, Ava. Show us the console.
Huh? You think I, brought it here? That's
I
weird.
don't think she has the console on her, dude.
She has to. She never had an opportunity to slink away and dispose of it.
Yes, she did. You guys were apart for a little bit.
Blackout.
When the blackout first hit, people were disoriented for about a minute at most. Ava likely spent those 60 seconds undoing the cord and moving the chair. Between then and now, she's never been alone.
Yes, she has.
The only exception was when she and I split up to investigate the dining hall and the dorms respectively. However, the laundry room, dining hall, and courtyard all had people in them, so I doubt she hid the console in any of those rooms. And the janitor closet? That room has been locked for days now. She obviously couldn't hide the console there. Which means it must still be on her person.
She could have just chucked it in one of the rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, the storage closet room. Yeah, she could just ditch
No.
it in the storage closet during the
No,
blackout.
her room.
Her
Like when she
room?
was on her way to the gaming tournament room to interview people, she could have just chucked it in one of the rooms.
Yeah.
Also, when she was going to split up with us to get testimonies.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah, that's what Laurel's saying during that part. Well, but the game told us she couldn't. So she couldn't.
No.
Like I said earlier, if I'm wrong about the console, you can take it out right now and show everyone its contents.
I don't have it, dude.
She was so smart, but she wasn't smart enough to ditch the console.
What are you waiting for? Quit hiding this stupid thing and show it.
I don't have it.
You got me.
You're just trying to make me look bad. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just jealous of me. You're jealous of me and my talent. That's all you are. Jealous.
Of being a
A
mathlete?
mathlete?
Okay, calm down.
I'm the master
We're
debater, bro.
not jealous of you being a mathlete.
You're the master debater without the duh. Why not
Oh.
just pull out the console? Yes, show us the console and then you'll be done with this. No. So yummy. I don't have to show anyone anything. I don't even have it. That's the most suspicious thing you could say.
You could just break the screen.
It's
Yeah.
not suspicious. I'm telling the truth.
Take out your pocket, break it in half. Oops.
That's obviously a lie.
Why go through the effort of mentioning Wolfgang's blackmail if you won't reveal this? Now that I think back on it, Ava has been staring at her console the entire tournament. I thought it was weird coming all the way over to the dining hall when she could have just stayed in her dorm.
Well, where did she obtain this console?
You said she got it from Cassidy, but It was probably from the Tozu thing.
We should discuss those details before continuing any more with these accusations.
She said she won it from Tozu's gachapon.
Seems natural he would stock that machine with dangerous items, with this being a killing game and all. Between 14 possible culprits and one possible killer, there's no need to sort out the facts further. Ava, you're the only one we can vote for.
Such twisted logic. You're going to vote for me without being completely sure I'm even guilty? And there's no need to be completely sure if no one else can be suspected.
In case anyone still doubts Ava is the killer, I'll go through the case one last time.
Wrap up.
Time.
Once all the pieces are laid out for everyone to see, I'll prove she's the killer once and for all.
Who are you pointing at?
You know.
What did Wolfgang and Diana receive? Okay.
The note.
We have closing
What
the
do we
vent
have?
and the blackout.
The note.
The note.
The note.
The note. The
The
note.
note.
The 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 taser.
The note.
The taser.
The taser.
Blackout.
Blackout. Bam. How's the battery activated? Closing
the
the
vent.
vents. The note.
The
It's
note.
Donald.
The note.
The note.
The note.
We found it.
We did it. The syringe.
The syringe.
Yeah,
That we still haven't.
Yeah, we still have no clue how that. I guess it's because they're like, well, she said she got here at this time, but we really don't know because no one looked at the
Donut.
clock. Donut. We already
The time.
got Donut.
The syringe.
The syringe.
Oh, right there, yeah. The
Damn.
syringe.
The syringe.
Baby.
Baby.
Baby. Internal plug.
Where? Internal plug.
B.
B.
Internal plug.
B the cat.
Oh. Yeah.
Where is she? Where?
Waiting for you to put the internal plug.
Internal plug.
Internal plug.
You better give us B pics after this. We deserve it for
Internal plug.
something case.
Car
battery.
battery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what was the end?
Internal
Turn on
plug.
Internal plug.
Internal plug. Alright.
Got the
taser.
taser. The
The
killer.
killer.
Took them.
The taser. The taser.
The
The
taser.
taser. The note.
The note.
Wolfgang.
The Wolfgang. The Diana.
My Wolfgang.
Wolfgang, stand up.
Wolfgang.
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 Diana.
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 I got it.
The note.
The note.
Oh my
The
god.
The note.
Note. This case was directly incited by the motive Tozu introduced, in which everyone here received another person's blackmail. Amidst the chaos that spawned, the killer saw an opportunity to commit a murder. They sent letters to provoke two people, Wolfgang Nakire, who they planned to kill, and Diana Venezia, who they planned to frame.
The note.
The note. Wolfgang and Diana were asked to meet in the boiler room in 2 days' time. Wolfgang's note told him to arrive at 8:15, while Diana's told her to arrive at 8:45. The message threatened to expose our blackmail, so we had no choice but to follow their instructions. Oh, that's Diana now.
Oh, the messages threatened to expose our blackmail, so we had no choice but to follow their instructions.
At this point, the killer probably knew the way they were going to kill Wolfgang. Hence, how they reacted to this next piece of information. The following morning, it was revealed that Cassie and Jet were going to hold a game tournament.
The point was for people to spend time together and not think murdery thoughts. Little did we know, a would-be killer was lurking nearby.
The clock.
And how? The killer emboldened their own plans and made it so the tournament would happen at 9 a.m. You disagree with yourself?
Both Wolfgang and Diana turned down the offer, which must have been music to the killer's ears, since it confirmed their plan was working. The killer took this as a sign to commence the next phase of their plan. Later that evening, they went downstairs to the boiler room and began preparing the murder weapon.
With no shoes?
With no
It would
shoes.
not be more accurate to call it a murder mechanism. The killer wrapped an extension cord as tightly as they could around a car battery, which had been stolen from Jet's room. I imagine the battery must have been sitting on top of the generator. Wouldn't want to risk an explosion by bringing lithium too close to the water.
The killer avoided opening the boiler room vent for this segment, probably because they knew I'd remember it being closed originally. A crucial part of the killer's plan would involve sliding the cord through the boiler room vent and out the other end into the dining hall. So they could then walk upstairs to the dining hall and tie the protruding part of the cord to the dining hall vent.
Funnily enough, the killer was going to be needed in the dining hall very shortly.
Yeah, to help Cass and me rearrange the dining hall's furniture. We were saving the whole thing for the next morning, but they'd convinced us to do it that night instead.
Their intentions were threefold. Create an alibi, hide the vent with a piece of furniture, and then open the vent in secret. After which, they'd return to the boiler room and suspend the battery over the generator.
Which brings us to today. Knowing better than to head downstairs without protection, Wolfgang went to the kitchen and armed himself with a knife. Toshiko didn't notice a knife on him when the two met in the hallway, so he must have hidden it in his blazer.
Yeah, this is smart. Put your back to the door. Wolfgang arrived inside the boiler room at 8:15 a.m., exactly like his letter requested. As he waited, the killer snuck up behind him.
And he got smacked right in the head with that steel rolling pin and crumpled like paper.
A syringe was then used to inject Wolfgang with a sleeping drug, ensuring he would remain in the boiler room until Diana arrived.
The killer might have, left the taser on the floor around this time.
Okay, wait, but Eva's the one who told Damon to look inside of the closets. Like, he wouldn't have done that if she didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the taser they swiped from my dorm. They must have decided to raid the place after receiving my blackmail. If I'd heard about the taser sooner, I could have gotten rid of it, as well as whatever else my blackmail supposedly mentions.
Save the angsting for later, will you? You always beat their fire. Who made them?
Anyway, back on topic. Wolfgang was left to lie in the partially flooded area of the boiler room.
Well, the killer ran upstairs to help set Mark with some music equipment.
They didn't care about the equipment. They just wanted to put a speaker next to the vent because it would drown out the fight, which was going to happen later. Don't forget the digital clock. You wanted to get there before that became available. Don't need people knowing what time you actually arrived.
My letter said to meet at 8:45 a.m., so that's when I got to the boiler room. I made sure to close the door behind me just as the message told me to.
Bad idea. The killer flipped the doorknob so the lock was on the outside instead of the inside. You locked yourself in.
The room was really dark, too. I didn't even see the suspended battery. Only the blinking security camera, and then Wolfgang. He got up on his feet all of a sudden and started crying and saying these weird things. I tried to keep him calm and asked him to come over to me, which he actually did, but the very next second, he attacked me with his knife.
The drugs probably gave him a frightening hallucination, and he perceived you as a threat.
He was screaming at me, and I was screaming back. No one from the tournament could hear us over the music. At one point, I even picked up the taser, but then I threw it back down again.
And that's when the killer decided it was time. Having set their chair to recline, they were able to casually reach down and close the vent behind them. This lowered the extension cord, causing the car battery to enter the water and discharge a huge amount of electricity.
Boom.
How did I not go blind from this?
Yeah, really. Wolfgang, who was still standing in the water, was electrocuted instantly. The battery itself exploded upon reacting with the water, which the killer was likely banking on as a way to destroy evidence.
I mean, I guess we never saw his body, so I assume the rest of him was also electrocuted, but we just saw the hands.
Right. There you go. Yeah, that was really tripping me up. Good point. All this happened right under my nose. No one could have guessed that someone present at the tournament was committing murder.
And the explosion also damaged the generator and caused the blackout. Everyone ended up stumbling around the dark. Are you okay?
Bear?
He's like sneezing.
Aw, sneezy baby. Bear.
Mayor.
Little baby. Not for long, though. We quickly came back to our senses and agreed to look for a backup generator on the underground floor.
I used a hairpin to unlock the boiler room door and ran outside. But you guys had already made it downstairs. That's when you said you ducked around a corner and out of sight. Only after everyone went inside the closets did you then dash upstairs.
It's a good thing she did. Otherwise, we would have found her alone in a room with Wolfgang's dead body. We would have wrongly assumed Diana was the killer and died as a result. This complicated scheme calls to mind only one person. One person who just so happened to be sitting in a certain sofa chair.
You?
No. You. That person
You.
is you, Ava Sunaka, not me.
You.
Okay, that's all she's gonna say now. It's over, Ava. We know the truth.
It's not fair. This isn't fair. This isn't fair.
Woo!
Yay! Execution, execution, execution!
Execution time. It's punishment time.
Wonderful, brilliant, spectacular. You have seen beyond the foul lies of the scorned mathematician and delivered the honorable truth with wit and aplomb. This is worthy of praise. Allow me to reward your success with...
Can you shut up?
Okay, I'm sorry.
With that Tozu's mad ramblings, the trial room had gone completely silent. Everyone was either staring at the floor or sneaking nervous glances at each other.
Gonna be making crying sounds. I understand the reason for this frosty atmosphere. You found out who done it, so now you wish to know why done it.
But we didn't vote for her. You just confirming
Very
it.
well. Every murder mystery needs a motive, and I would be loath to break tradition at this stage.
Ava, why did you do this? Just why?
Come on, speak up. You have nothing to lose now. It was Tozu.
Huh?
Tozu made me do it.
What? You've been working with Tozu this entire time?
Me and her? Oh, please. I don't work with mathletes. If her plan was to secretly infiltrate the killing game, she wouldn't have given herself such an attention-grabbing ultimate title. I mean, seriously, ultimate liar? Talk about on the nose. No. Eva is just as much of a kidnappee as the rest of you.
Shut up! You let her get away with breaking the rules. That's proof enough you're in cahoots.
Ava broke the rules?
Yeah, when she blew up the fucking property! Why the fuck was I punished for checking a rock at a camera, but Eva wasn't even punished for destroying a fucking generator?
Shit. Is Eva the exception that rule was talking about?
What?
Desmond.
Desmond.
Nope, that's not me.
Desmond tapped the screen of his trinket and conjured a familiar square-shaped hologram. With a few swipes of his finger, he located the killing game's rules.
Okay, yeah. Everyone take a look at this second rule.
2. Students are not allowed to vandalize any official killing game property, such as the cameras and the Tozu trinkets. Exceptions may apply.
Do you see how it says exemptions may apply at the end? Since Eva wasn't punished for breaking the generator, could it mean she counts as an exception? Or because it was just cameras and watches?
Yeah, the generator they don't care about. Not on the list.
Are you gonna explain how? Or are you just trying to be a fucking contrarian?
Well, if I had to make a guess, it's probably because Eva destroyed the generator while committing a murder.
Are you saying Eva has special privileges?
I think it's more like her method of murder was what destroyed the generator. Meaning, the generator is technically tied to Wolfgang's death.
Yeah, which is why Eva was excused for breaking it.
Yo, that can't actually be the reason, can it?
And if it were?
What?
It's you!
I see. Eva believed she would count as an exception to the rule, which is why she didn't take any steps to avoid destroying the generator.
You risk getting shot in the head over something she just assumed?
Nah. With how confidently Ava executed the murder, she must have known for sure she wouldn't be penalized. How about it, Tozu? Did you ever share that information with her?
A desperate killer is much like a hungry seagull, ready to pounce upon the slightest crumb of substance. The mere implication of a loophole ignites their senses, and they, as desperate people always do, will shred their dignity in pursuit of confirmation. So, to answer your question, yes, Eva approached me with the same questions your friends are asking now. And yes, I confirmed her suspicions were true.
Seriously? That's so unfair.
Unfair? Answering a reasonable question is far from unfair. You never asked a professor for help on an assignment. Sure, your professor won't do the work for you, but they'll be happy to clear up any confusion you might have.
Then why did Eva say you made her kill Wolfgang?
I suppose you can say, even I made a deal.
A deal? What kind of deal?
A deal to begin the killing game. In exchange for agreeing to perform the first kill, she would receive a special perk. A traitor perk.
What do you mean, traitor perk? Tell me she gets executed, please.
Is it the tablet Eva has? I mean, she refused to show it to us when we asked.
Mind you that a host cannot simply hand over a traitor perk to anyone who asks. For a student to be eligible for a perk, they must first earn it.
What do you mean by earn it?
Do you recall that little tidbit I shared with you about the pharmacy? You know, the one about a secret lurking inside?
Yeah, we remember.
Blah, 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 blah. That secret. Were you referring to the traitor perk? I was. When I said a very interesting secret was lurking inside, I meant that quite literally. Widowy. The only thing separating you from the perk was a few inches of stainless steel and a pin pad. Pin pad? Oh gosh, you're talking about that big door I found tucked behind a shelf.
I see. It was hiding the traitor perk all along.
How did Eva figure out the password to the pin pad, though? Did she enter a bunch of random numbers until it, finally worked?
A 4-digit code would have thousands of potential combinations. Like 10,000. Unless Ava encountered unbelievable luck, the chances of her guessing that code in only a few days is extremely unlikely.
Then how did she get access to the traitor perk?
4 numbers to unlock the pin pad. How did Eva figure them out? There's only one way. Only one way I could see her obtaining the correct answer. It's to do with that poster, isn't it? That mysterious poster in the pharmacy. Yeah? What poster are you?
Ding, ding, ding! Correct! Yes, hidden inside one of the pharmacy's rooms is a poster which reveals the code to the pin pad. For reals?
How can that poster reveal the code, though? I knew it had to be important somehow. None of the visuals made sense, which is exactly why it caught my attention. So just the 1010 Tozu coins? Is that it? Or whatever that number is? That's okay. But I didn't know how to do with that information. How to decipher what I was seeing.
And that is where you fell short of your mathematically gifted
I don't
peer.
think it's mathematics.
Just
I
read
think
the
the rest of you are
numbers.
stupid.
With her keen eyesight and quick thinking, she saw the poster for what it really was.
Maybe it's actually a puzzle.
An equation.
Oh, I see.
What?
Every detail is deceitful. Those exclamations of grandeur may in fact be hints towards a certain something's nature, and that large star is standing for a coordinate plane. Well, not that it matters anymore. The passcode to that precious pin pad is, after all, being changed as we speak. To quote the words of my parents' parents, the road to freedom must always be paved with obstacles. No way! Math equation is totally up Eva's alley.
Eva, you told me you couldn't understand the poster.
Of course she did. That equation is the key to the trader perk. Handing it over would mean handing the perk over.
So the trader perk was a reward for solving the puzzle? The heck even is the perk? You still haven't explained that yet.
I assure you it's a very handy thing to have. You see, this trader perk allows the owner to access the school's security cameras using a tablet. That tablet, of course, being on Eva's person right now.
What? So, I was right. You accessed the camera in the boiler room, which was how you saw Diana enter.
I thought it was weird Eva wouldn't show us the tablet, but I didn't think it was actually wired to the school cameras.
Then, the reason I saw the security camera light blinking back in the boiler room, it's because Eva was watching me?
Yeah, this is making too much sense.
Eva, how could you negotiate with your kidnapper? Why do you have any reason to trust him? You had no choice. Either take his deal and give myself a chance to escape, or I would die here with the rest of you.
That selfish attitude is the reason why we've ended up in this mess. Didn't we promise to make it out of here together? If you hadn't murdered one of the only people who could have handled the situation, we might have made progress on escaping.
Even if I didn't kill, someone else would have eventually. And if they were in my position right now, they wouldn't even admit to what they've done. They'd cry and snivel and try to guilt you. They wouldn't be honest like me.
Honest or not, playing Tozu's game was risky. You were trapped in a small space with witnesses everywhere. That's not a gamble you should have taken.
We had food, we had shelter. All we had left to do was wait for our eventual rescue from this place. But I would have died first. It was obvious from what was happening with Wolfgang. His constant jeering at me were the few mistakes I'd made, while the rest of you followed his lead. If a class trial ever happened with him around, he would have accused me of being the killer even without evidence. And you all would have believed him.
That's not...
Because of Wolfgang, I was isolated from everyone else. He turned me into an easy target for murder. And if I was murdered, will the rest of you even bother to find out who killed me? There's no way you would. There's no way anyone would. You're the worst. I hope you rot in here.
That's cold, man.
Even if we had some rough spots, some of us still tried to get along with you. During the gaming tournament, I was fine with you joining. You think a few games were enough to forgive everything you did to me? None of you actually care about me. None of you!
Girl, they made fun of you for being a mathlete like once.
Never been anything to anyone.
What do you mean?
It really is the same in here as it is out there. I'm always the one that people hated. I didn't choose this talent. I was just doing what others wanted me to do. I was the prodigy student all the adults wanted me to be. I thought I did everything right. I still kept being judged. Everyone else around me resented me, hated me, because they wanted the love I received. Or what they thought was love. And despite all my hard work, the UTP turned me into something I never wanted to be. Even if I wanted to return to normality, it would be impossible. I'm stuck with this talent for life. And now, when I try to become something more than a sad joke, I get hit with the realization that all my efforts were for nothing. I never could be anyone else. I'll never get what I deserve.
But I cared. I cared about you. Mhm. I don't get it. Eva, why did you frame me? I cared for you and stood up for you whenever I could. I wanted to be your roommate. I wanted to help you.
It didn't mean anything.
Why?
You still agreed with everything Wolfgang said. No matter what he did to me, you kept on supporting him.
Is that why you tried to frame me for his murder?
Sorry if you can hear noises. Bear's like going apeshit.
Bear.
Can you get a video?
Unbearable.
I can't.
What's he doing?
Why? To use my tablet though. Oh my god.
I want to see Bear going crazy.
Yeah. And you deserved it.
No. No!
Diana let out a sob and nearly fell onto her podium.
Diana!
Eloise ran over to Diana and put an arm around her shoulder.
Why did you have to kill Wolfgang in front of her? That's so cruel!
She obviously knew what she was doing. Both the cause and time of death were mentioned in the mock trial case. So stands to reason they would be mentioned here, too. When Eva realized that, she tried to leverage it against us. I'm sure receiving that little camera perk made it all too easy. To time the murder.
Enough of this bullshit already. Eva's a privileged little asshole who thinks her life sucks. Who cares? You took Wolfgang's life. The only thing you deserve is some fucking comeuppance. I know how to say that.
Moopins.
Comeuppance.
I doubt she's actually telling the truth. Murdering someone because they lied about their inoffensive talent? Even she must know how ridiculous that sounds.
If Eva didn't kill Wolfgang because she was scared, then why did she kill him?
Why else but to escape the killing game? I doubt any of us were ever a threat to her. In fact, it was probably the complete opposite. She thought she was smarter and better than all of us. That's why she thought she could win the class trial.
Yes, I agree with Winona. In that case, do you reckon Ava killed Wolfgang because of his abilities as a lawyer?
She herself admitted he would have suspected her if he was here. Clearly, Wolfgang was the best person to kill if she wanted to escape. And anyway, Eva isn't the only one who's vulnerable. There are people here with even weaker bodies and weaker minds. Anyone who is looking for an easy kill would know to target them first. It doesn't matter. Even if no one targeted me, I still would have died first. How so? Because of the perk.
Huh?
Hozu told me that if I didn't use the perk to murder someone as soon as possible, I was going to die.
What?
Is this true, Tozu? Guilty as charged.
No way!
Dang, so if you get the perk, then you have to kill, or you're gonna get killed?
Hozu never told me the number of days I had left. Just that I needed to kill soon. If I didn't kill soon, I'd die. I had to do something. You can't blame me for that. If you were in my shoes, you would have all done the same.
It's your own fault. You were only in that situation because you took the perk.
Hozu targeted me with the math puzzle. He offered me the perk when I was at my lowest point. If you guys were approached the way I was and offered a chance to go home, you would have taken the perk too. You're just a bunch of hypocrites. You want to make me look like the villain so you feel less bad about killing me.
Killing her? That's right. How could I forget?
Execution?
That the blackened is uncovered.
Enough already. I'm sick of talking to this scumbag. Get on with the fucking execution, will you?
Alright. This soap opera is entertaining, but I realize it's time to change the channel. Oh?
Wait, don't tell me you're actually going to... Durr.
No.
All of a sudden, the elevator behind us began to churn alive. The whir of machinery could be heard from the other side of the doors, raw and loud and rhythmic, like a mechanical symphony.
Do not avert your eyes, ladies and gentlemen. I hear a lot of budget went into this. No, I don't.
What's going on?
This isn't happening. To the victor go the spoils. Hail the honorable dead, avenged at last. I don't deserve this. Even if you hate me, I don't deserve this. May our charitable justice inspire fear and humility within these wretched souls. This isn't fair. I don't deserve to die. I deserve to live. I deserve to live. And stir the hearts and minds of all those bearing witness. Ready, everyone? Let the show begin. I want to live. I deserve to live. I'm going to live. I'm going to live. Execution time! And now we present.
Time.
What are we presenting? The execution of Iwatsu. Not. Why am I small? Huh?
Oh, she running.
She's running.
Don't worry, I got you.
What the Sigma? Enjoy the show.
I got her.
What the skibidi toilet?
Oh boy.
Oh wow, they actually animate it.
They did the whole shebang.
Wow.
This is more animation than the actual games.
execution. Girl, your head's gonna be freaking falling off if you do that.
No.
Fiery furnace of affliction.
Ultimate mathlete.
Crushed. She's going into the furnace. Maybe get up.
No.
Start running.
Not the
Frodo's
The
Yeah.
exit. It's right there.
Go, go, go.
Run off of the thing. Jump off. Uh-oh.
It's not real. It's a treadmill.
Yeah.
Nerds suck at treadmills.
Oh, stairs.
Ah, Sailor. Really? That's so evil. Stairs are the worst.
Oh, watch out for...
Throwing projectors at her.
Oh.
I don't know. What are the triangle rulers called?
Yeah, it's like a
Oh no.
protector.
Protractors are the circular ones. Ow.
Who
Nails.
put nails in there?
Oh my
Ow.
god, this is gruesome.
Damn. Ow.
Damn, she really wants to live.
No, my girl. I take it back. I stand by my choice. Winona, you're second best girl.
Oh, who died?
The
Oh, that's the
dummy.
girl who died. The dummy girl.
Drop the
What if it's
dummy
not a
on
dummy?
her. What if Got him.
No. My girl.
I wonder if Damon's gonna have that added to his design.
It takes feather.
Gonna get the feather.
That'd be cool. Yeah, you didn't get to have a final goodbye to her.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He like, hey.
My entire body had seized up. I couldn't move a single limb, couldn't say a single word. All I could do was stand and stare, my mind at a complete and total loss.
So that's what punishment entails?
God, sob. Let me go home. Please let me go home.
Goodness, talk about a heated moment, eh? Too soon? Eva put up quite a fight. For a second there, she almost had me believing we'd underestimated her. Why can't you catch her? Just
I
kidding.
Did my
We
best.
How can you do this? Forcing these innocent people to kill each other.
so judgmental. Need I remind you that this is student-on-student warfare?
Shut up already. Eva, why? You just needed a friend. I could have been the friend you needed. Why did you do this?
I think I'm going to be sick.
I don't even know what I'm feeling anymore.
I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
I'm even crying.
I'm totally gonna die here, aren't I?
No one else is gonna die. Here, we're all gonna be okay. Come on, repeat it after me. I'm here, and I'm okay.
I'm here, and I'm okay.
I'm here, and I'm okay.
This was my reality. The fear of death had already been heavy on my shoulders ever since the killing game was announced. But now, it had completely enveloped me.
I can't do it. I can't lie to myself again. Again? I'm not okay. I'm never going to be okay. I could have changed things. I could have saved her. And him, Wolfgang. If I just dragged him out of the water, I could have saved him. Why didn't I save him? Diana, you had no way of knowing what was going to come next. He was wielding a knife too. Anyone would have done what you did.
Did he really bring a knife for self-defense?
Usually, a comment like that would have gotten a rise out of Grace, but she stayed completely silent.
I can't let it end. Wolfgang's kindness. I can't let anyone forget it.
That goes without saying. I'm sure everyone will remember what Wolfgang did for us.
I've never thought of the lengths my talent can go. The ability to change others' appearances, to be the best versions of themselves. It's always been someone else who sits in front of the mirror. I've never really put myself in that place.
Diana, you okay?
If I can't save Wolfgang, then at the very least, maybe I can live for him.
You didn't do anything wrong, Diana.
Yeah. I can do this. I can fulfill the life he wasn't able to live.
Huh?
I feel like she's gonna die next.
Diana becomes the protagonist.
Hey! Well, like a chameleon, I will adapt. I'll follow in Wolfgang's footsteps and continue what he wasn't able to accomplish. I'll become something new.
Wolfgang was hope, and now Diana's hope. Tears were running down Diana's face, but her expression... Somehow, she looked determined. I couldn't understand it. Despite everything she's been through, here she was making some silly vow about continuing Wolfgang's legacy. Acting like she's a hero from a storybook. Has this girl lost her mind?
Wolfgang and Eva, neither of them deserved this. I won't let what happened to them happen to anyone else here. For both of their sakes, I'll save everyone from the killing game.
Take this seriously, will you?
Uh,
It seems your peers aren't much in the mood for heroic monologues.
Uh,
Anyhow, it's been a long day. The crime scene has already been cleaned up, unless you have any further questions for me.
where'd you put his body?
You are all free to return to your dorms. Oh, we checked him in the furnace too. So, any further
What?
questions?
Get lost.
Now, where have I heard that one before? In all seriousness, I'll take that as a no. Ahem. Until next time, everyone.
Just like last time, Tozu walked over to the throne.
By the way, you're safe to ride the elevator back up. We set it back to its default mode. What you glimpsed before was simply its punishment mode.
On that ominous note, he was lowered underground.
Hey, guys. Should we just go back to our rooms?
Aye, it's about time we draw this day to a close.
But I don't have a roommate anymore.
Good idea.
Mm.
I guess her and Grace will have to bunk together.
Guess so. People silently made their way to the elevator, horror and despair etched on their faces. It was clear. Today's events would not be easily forgotten. And then there was me. Everything I'd been ruminating over. The devastating images which had been plaguing my mind. Wolfgang's murder. The trial. Eva dying right in front of me, swallowed by a pit of fire. It all retreated to the corners of my mind. The only thing I could focus on now were those 5 words. I'll follow in Wolfgang's footsteps. Hearing those words coming from Diana, after everything that's happened, seeing her raise her chin and act so tall and proud, just like Wolfgang once did, it pissed me off.
Rude.
Did I do it? He would. Beneath the veil of hypocrisy.
No.
One surviving member is 14.
No.
Feather.
To be continued.
Woo!
Woo! Good job,
Was that
guys.
enough of a twist for you?
Enough of a what?
A twist for you?
Yes, they did good. Good job, guys. Chapter 1 and... Well, we eagerly await. Hey, we're not these people. I guess these are the real voice actors. Here's the directors. Good job, people.
Yay.
Woohoo! Well, I'm looking forward to chapter 2, 3, 4, 5.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Jesus. There's a bunch of suicides, I guess. There's not enough people.
Alright, guys, we can't vote. We gotta skip this round.
I mean,
We're in an
Like,
I saw
odd
red
number of
vent.
people. No. I think pink is sus.
No, red is sus.
Pink is sus.
red, white, and blue.
Red vented. We should vote them out.
I saw pink murder.
No, you didn't. That's a lie.
Yeah, I saw pink murder. I don't know which pink, but it was definitely pink.
Well, we did it. Unfortunately, we are past time that we had to stop. So
By
I'll
about
just
an
hit
hour, but that's
F1.
okay.
If there's a secret ending, let us know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed. We gotta go. I look forward to voicing more Another 10 hours.
Until next time.
So long.
Farewell.
Farewell.